27-6 over New Orleans. Detroit 24-13 over Houston. 27-24, Cleveland over Pittsburgh. First time they've ever won in Pittsburgh at that stadium. 2nd and 10. Dallas at their own 46. Tony Hill wide to the right. Banks comes left. Newsom, by the way, is lined up as a tight end. Valor again flushed out of the pocket. Gets it over the right side to Hill. A gain of 8. You surprised, John, that they're coming out throwing like this?
Well, I know that was their plan. You know, they script their first 20 plays now, like the 49ers do. And in those first 20 plays, the script calls for 10 runs and 10 passes. And Danny White said last night that they didn't change that. They're going to go about it the same way they would if he were playing.
There is Danny White. Cowboys go with 2 tight ends now, and one of them is number 62. Brian Baldinger. Valor moves Walker. You'd think he'd carry it. Oh, he's going to throw. If he has time, and he almost did. Mike Sherrard, the pass receiver. He was out of bounds.
I'll tell you the big thing, he's out of bounds on this play, but it's still a heck of a throw and a heck of a catch by Sherrard. I think that Valor on this first drive, even though they didn't get a first down, but I think with that throw, he got a lot of confidence.
Well, we were talking to Danny White last night, and I asked him what he thought Valor's strengths were, and he said poise.
Yeah, he said that he's never seen him ever lose his cool, except one time, and it was in a preseason game. Said they weren't getting the plays in quickly enough for him. You know, Tom Landry said the same thing about him. He said the kid has a lot of poise.
This is Saxon. High kick in the direction of Will Height. He's going to handle, and he's going to be hammered. Just at the 12, Steve Diassi and Bill Bates were the first 2 down. A 35-yard punt, but effective. Denver will take over at their own 13-yard line now. 1st and 10. Dallas nothing, Broncos nothing. Big game. We talked about the atmosphere and the enthusiasm of the fans, but yesterday the Broncos at practice didn't even dress in practice gear. They went in street clothes.
I know, this was the loosest group that I've ever seen the day before any kind of game. Maybe that's the way it should be, though. It should be fun. What the heck?
This is Gene Lang. Chase. Brought down by Mike Hegman. Maybe a yard, not much more than that.
Hey, that was some play by Hegman coming right down that line of scrimmage. You know, Lang was trying to outrun him to the sideline, and Hegman just didn't let him.
Actually lost 2. Gerald Wilhite comes in. So obviously he was not injured too badly on the first play. And here comes that 4-0 defense again.
Yeah, that was Sammy Winder that Hegman was chasing down that line of scrimmage.
Dutton is out. Bob Otto is in. Randy White brings down Sammy Winder.
You know, one of the things, talking about blockers, watch Clarence Kay here, number 88. You know, Dan Reeves was saying that he thinks that he's probably the best blocking tight end in football. That time he was going against Johnny Holloway at defensive back, but I'll tell you, he can put him on your back.
3rd and 8. Dallas showing blitz there at Elway. Penalty marker down. It was intended for Sewell, but the flags went down everywhere.
I'll tell you, we were talking earlier how the Cowboys use the flex, but they also use the 4-0.
Full start, number 54, offense, hit foul.
And they're a much better defense in the 4-0 than they are in the flex. When they get those 4 linemen going and those 7 defensive backs and they're blitzing and all that stuff, they really cause a lot of confusion for the other team. And that's the thing that Dan Reeves was worried about yesterday. He said we wanted to stay out of these situations.
3rd and 13. Bob Otto. Jim Jeffcoat has moved in this setup to left defensive tackle, and Otto has moved into Randy Whiteley into Dutton's play. Elway fires outside, incomplete. Covered by Ron Fellows, intended for Clint Sampson.
You know, last week, John Elway had a terrible start against New England. Said the first quarter was the worst quarter of football he ever played in his life, and he was just too up, you know, just too anxious, just too excited. And I guess they finally calmed him down. In fact, Dan Reeves said, I wish I had a gun where I could shoot him with a tranquilizer.
And then he calmed down in the second half and had a great second half. Jack Will back in his own end zone, and Robert Levette standing at his own 45. This one he catches. Levette retreats to his own 38. But not much room to go. Broncos down. Darren Como and Rick Dennison were the first down to make the stop, and the Cowboys will take over their own 48. Their first 4 games, the Dallas Cowboys scored over 30 points. No NFL team has ever started a season with 5 straight 30-point efforts.
Well, of course, they have the new offensive coordinator, Paul Hackett is here now and bringing an offense a lot like the 49er offense to this team. And the players sure like it. Danny White was saying last night, when it works, it's a Paul Hackett offense. When it doesn't, it's a Buddy Hackett offense.
That's Levette, the deep back this time, and Walker comes up. He and Newsom lined up side by side to the left. To Levette. Nothing there. Dennis Smith up to make the stop very quickly. No gain. Right now for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Pat, you gave the score, and here's the story. For the first time, the Cleveland Browns have won in Three Rivers Stadium. Gerald McNeil, the Ice Cube, took that kickoff back for 100 yards. The little 5'7", 145-pound athlete scored the biggest touchdown, 27-24, back to Pat and John.
All right, Brent, we're at Mile High Stadium in Denver. No score. Dallas' second possession of the day. Crosby in motion on 2nd and 12. Ballure, quick pass is picked off. The flag is down. Back in the secondary. Dennis Smith, who just made the tackle, made the interception. This is probably going to be against the Cowboys.
I'll tell you, that was a heck of an interception by Dennis Smith. He was working out there, looked like in a zone, and he just reached one of those long arms out there and brought it in.
Game, number 16, offense, second down.
So there was no play. They didn't get the play off in time. They called it against Ballure, so there was no play.
It was still a great play by Dennis Smith.
Yeah, it was.
I remember Dennis Smith when he was at USC. And, he played a little cornerback here, and now he's a strong safety. And Dan Reeves said he thinks he's probably the best strong safety in football. I kind of agree with that. I mean, here is a big guy. He high jumped 7'2".
I know.
I mean, how do you get over something like that?
Second down. And now the fans in Denver and the stands in Denver are coming alive. It's Crosby in motion. Draw play, Walker hit behind the line by Andre Townsend.
Tell you, that's on Howard Richards. Watch right here. Townsend is going to take an inside move, and he gets right inside and gets the penetration. Richards doesn't get his right foot down there. Watch the outside guy. He just takes that quick inside move. You see it right there? And Richards can't get him blocked. As a tackle, you always have to protect against that inside move. See when he put that right foot back? That gave Townsend the inside lane.
And that makes it 3rd and 19. And the Cowboys go into the spread. And the Broncos go into their version of the 4. Pallur gets it upfield to Herschel Walker. And Walker will not have the first down. Those of you who watched the Giants defeat the St. Louis Cardinals 13-6. Welcome to Mile High Stadium in Denver. It's the Cowboys against the Broncos. There is no score as yet. Pat Summerall and John Madden. We're still in the first quarter with 9:12 left to play. It's 4th down Dallas. They're at their own 49-yard line. Mike Saxon back to punt. Gerald Wilhite back deep for the Broncos, standing at his own 10. Wilhite signals fair catch at the 10. That's where they'll start. Neither team able to get anything going offensively yet. 41-yard punt, no return. John Elway will bring the Broncos on as you look at their head coach, Dan Reeves. 16 years with Tom Landry. They analyzed the handwriting of the two in the paper this morning here in Denver. And they both, according to handwriting analysis, are intelligent and have a tremendous desire to win. That's pretty handy if you're a head coach.
You know, Dan Reeves is, well, of course, Tom Landry's Tom Landry. He's a legend, but Dan Reeves has done an outstanding job building this team.
That's Winder. Stopped by Jeff Rohr, but a gain of about 9.
You know, last night we were talking to Tom Landry. He was asking, you know, what's the best thing about this Bronco team? And Tom Landry said that they play as a team. He said, you look here and there. He said, it's not that, but it's just a great team. He said, offensively, they play well as a team. Defensively, special teams. And I think that's a real tribute to the coaching staff.
It's 2nd and 1. And as you mentioned before, the Broncos do use a lot of trick plays. Here's a good spot. No tricks. Straight ahead blast by Winder gets the first down. Stopped by John Dutton and Randy White, but the first down of the day. A gain of 5.
Well, I think a pretty good indicator when you're going to get a trick play is probably close to midfield when either Steve Sewell, number 30, or Gerald Wilhite, number 47, have their hands in the ball. Those are the two guys that usually handle the tricks for him.
It's not the biggest team, Denver, but as you pointed out, they do play as a team. And they have a lot of faith in each other and a lot of confidence in themselves. 1st and 10. Elway will throw on first. Got somebody. Clint Sampson was the intended receiver. Everson Walls was chasing. He had a step.
I'll tell you, he did that. He had a couple steps there on Walls, and he just threw it over his head. Yeah, we were talking about the trick plays in Denver. In 4 games, we see have used 18. 4 of those have been for touchdowns. They've lost yards on 4. They've gained on 9. And then they had 1 penalty. But remember, that penalty one was one that should have been a touchdown. But they fouled up the instant replay and all that stuff.
So it should be 5 touchdowns. Here is Wilhite. Got outside, chased, and caught by Randy White.
I'll tell you, there's something, a big guy, you know, big guys are usually in the pitch, you know, running. But here's a big guy that can run. Watch Randy White, 54. He's starting on a stunt to the right. Now watch, when he sees a runner, he just runs straight down the line, and he catches Wilhite right there on the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you, when this guy comes to work, Randy White, he comes for a full day's work.
3rd and 7, excuse me, John. Sewell and Wilhite are both in the game now. They operate out of the shotgun. And they get it outside to Sewell, and he's got a little room. Holloway knocked him out of bounds, but it will be a gain of 11 and another Denver first down.
I think Steve Sewell is one of the guys that really helps his team because he's a running back who can also catch the ball, as he does here, coming out of the backfield, but can also play a wide receiver. So that allows Dan Reeves to do a lot of things with this offense. A guy like Steve Sewell, he's not listed as a starter, but he adds a heck of a lot to the team.
On first down. Bob Otto has replaced Randy White, and they're looking at him over on the sideline. The Denver 38. That's a play they run over and over and over, and Jim Jeffcoat caught it from behind. Winder was the ball carrier, and he's the guy on the backside. You have to get blocked.
Well, of course, you can't allow that inside penetration. You see the tight end is coming down, Kay trying to cut him. And you have to get your head in front. So he didn't get his head in front, and Jeffcoat just hit that gap between the tight end and the tackle.
That'll make it 2nd and 12. Sampson comes out to the right. Watson goes wide to the left from the spread formation. The backs cross. Elway gets it out to Sewell. And Otto chases it down with help from Vince Albritton, but they still got 9 yards.
That they did. They had their center out there, Billy Bryan, who's one of the best in the league. You know, he can do a heck of a lot of things. And they get their center out there. They get a one-man screen. See the center start there? He goes down to the right of the screen. Elway looks right. Boom, he hits the pass. See, now he has a blocker out in front. He gets Albritton, and that's the play. That block allowed about 5 more yards.
That'll make it 3rd and 2. The Broncos moving now up to their own 45. No score as yet. 5:12 left to play, first quarter. Elway rolls out. Gets out of the pocket. Back across the field, Lieutenant Sewell. That's one of the things that he can do that no one else can do.
John Elway.
Yes.
He's so strong, you know, that Gordon Banks, who played with Elway and Stanford, said that no one wanted to play catch with him. He said he used to throw the ball in practice and break guys' fingers.
There goes Randy White walking up the tunnel into the Cowboy locker room.
The only thing strange about that, he was walking by himself. They usually send someone in with him, a trainer or a doctor or that type of thing.
Will back to punt. And Levette standing back at about the 11-yard line.
Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Another one off the inside of his foot that Levette ends up to handle. Or tries to. It bounces away from him, and the Broncos down it inside the 20-yard line. 34-yard punt. And the word on Randy White is that he has a strained left hamstring. He must have pulled it on the play when he ran the Denver back down.
Running down the line of scrimmage, yeah, but I mean, to me, it's still strange that he walked in there into the house by himself. We know that really has to hurt the Cowboys. Of course, Randy White, one of the best ones in the league, but they also have Don Smirrick, who is out, and Kevin Brooks out.
So it's going to fall on the shoulders, it would seem, of Bob Otto. Robert Levette is the deep back. Walker is lined up in the slot to the left. And Levette will come left and won't go very far. Steve Wilson up to make the stop, and a loss of 4. Those of you who watched the Eagles come on to win their second and shut out Atlanta and end their unbeaten streak 16-0, welcome to Mile High Stadium in Denver, the home of the Broncos. No score here. Dallas nothing, Denver nothing, with 4:20 left to play. 4:20 now left to play in the first quarter.
Hey, those people that were popping off about Buddy Ryan are scrambling around to make some excuses, aren't they?
Second down and 14. Cowboys have a minus 8 yards total so far. Palor back to throw. Chase hits Gordon Banks. It looks like it's about a yard shy of the first down. Lewis Wright on the stop.
Hey, Banks has really come along on this team. You know, he said when he first came, he was trying too hard to make the team, and he started catching the ball with his body. And he said then he relaxed, he started catching with his hands. He said he's finally feeling comfortable as a Cowboy.
3rd and 1. They're feeling comfortable with him, I know that. 3rd and about a foot, really. Ball just inside the 30. Walker and Newsom are the 2 deep backs. Crosby in motion. Now the other way. Now to Walker. First down, Cowboys, they're first. Tony Lilly came up to make the stop. Raiders finally beat Kansas City in Kansas City.
You know, there's a guy that's amazing to me. I mean, I think everyone knew he was a runner, and I think they expected him just to be a runner in the NFL. But the thing, you know, they play him at fullback, halfback, wide receiver. Last week he played at tight end and caught one wide open in the end zone. And the fact that they have that much confidence in him to try those many things with him.
He is playing now at wide receiver, right up at the top of your picture. That's Walker in motion. And he's running in reverse this time with some blockers. Walker for about 9 on the reverse. Tell you what, he doesn't look like he should be able to run that fast.
No, he's too big, and his shoulder pads are too big. I mean, you know, a guy who runs that fast ought to be like a little guy. You know, little skinny old legs and arms. But look at how wide that guy is. There's a guy who's taking his place. Tony Dorsett says he's not going to play today. He said he's just going to be a cheerleader and a model.
Well, he's working at both. Second and short, Valor. Again under pressure. I don't know if he got it or not. He lost the ball out of bounds. But I think he was out of bounds. He's about an inch short, it would appear. To Brent Musburger in New York now.
Well, Pat, now there are only 3 unbeatens. You've got one of them. I'll tell you, Buddy Ryan's defense did a job. 7 sacks of David Archer. Next for the Eagles will be the New York Giants, and Buddy Ryan's doing a job. Let's go back to Pat and John.
Well, both the defenses here in Denver are doing the job. We're a minute 42 left in the first quarter. No scorers yet. Nobody able to move very much. Valor looked to be a little bit short of the first down.
I tell you have to admire the fact that he went for it, but again, that's being a young quarterback. I don't know that you want to take on those defenders when you're running up the sideline like that.
Especially if you're regular. Danny White is already hurt.
And if you want a long career, or any career.
There's our head cheerleader.
He was trying to get a first down. I think Tony Dorsett was cheering for him to get out of bounds and not get hurt. I'll tell you, you know, talking about it, Tony Dorsett, there's no one I've always felt better at avoiding that direct flush contact than Tony Dorsett. He always made you kind of miss and just skim him when you hit him.
If things progress as they have been progressing, he should be back next week when they face the Redskins. Valor over the top, got his first down.
You know, that's a pretty good play in short yardage because you always teach the defensive linemen get low. And they want to get, you see how low those linemen are? Look how low they get. They're all going down, grabbing grass. Then if they're all going down, grabbing grass, and there's no linebacker right there, then the best thing to do is, boom, just jump up on over it.
Tony Hill is split wide to the left. Mike Sherrard is the wide receiver. The other side, this is Walker. Penalty marker down over here on the left side. Jim Ryan made the stop, a gain of 1 by Herschel.
Your attention, please, Tom Wallace.
Jerry Mark Bright, the referee.
Tom Wallace.
Illegal motion, number 80, offense, penalty declined, second down.
Tony Hill, they decline the penalty. Bring up a 2nd and 9 situation. Dallas has the ball, their own 46, no score. Carl Mecklenburg, who goes everywhere, does everything. Doesn't look like he should be able to do it either, but he does. Hill and Sherrard split wide to the left. Valor moves Newsom. Broncos blitzing. For Sherrard, and he's got it. inside the Bronco 15.
I'll tell you, that was a heck of a catch because Randy Robbins was right there with him. Watch Sherrod. He's the rookie #1 draft choice for the Cowboys. Missed most of training camp. Watch him. They're running step for step. Now, Sherrod just starts to fade a little to the left, and Pulur made a perfect pass. You want to get it over the outside shoulder, away from the help.
He just barely got it off.
I tell you, he does have poise. I mean, he stood in there and hung in there under that big rush and made a perfect pass. Look at that. That's the place you want to throw it, over the outside shoulder, away from the safety.
So that's the end of the first quarter. They'll change ends now. No score as yet, but Dallas down on the Bronco 12, and they'll have it 1st and 10 at that point.
You know, here's Sherrod right here. We'll see him now. It's man-to-man here, but here's the guy that is watching Herschel Walker, and that allows Sherrod to get in behind him. Now watch what happened. The man-to-man there, they expect safety help in the middle. Do you see the safety right there? He's watching Herschel Walker. And now here's the safety here, so Sherrod can get by here, and the ball's thrown there. See that? You have to do something. If you're going to throw the ball in the middle deep, you have to get something to hold the free safety.
Walker and Newsom. It's the first play of the second quarter. Hand off to Newsom. Newsom maybe got to the 10. Met by Tom Jackson. Pickup of 2, perhaps.
You know, an interesting thing, Pat, that the Cowboys have really done well this year is that inside the 20, oh, here it is right there. They've been there 17 times. They've scored 17 and 14 touchdowns. That's good football, but I'll tell you another thing. The Bronco defense, Joe Collier, their coordinator, is the best at football playing inside the 20.
They are tough down here. 2nd and 8. Pulur rolls right. Gets it outside to Pants. Pants maybe got to the 4. A pickup of 6. Randy Robbins on the stop.
I'll tell you, the closer you get to the goal line, the tougher this Bronco defense is. Yeah, they were talking about Pulur having the poise. I mean, he started this game, he came out throwing, and he's been throwing the whole time.
He's 5 out of 7 now. There's Danny White. Mike Renfro is down in the game as well. There is Steve Pulur. Mike Renfro is split wide to the right. Walker is the only back behind Pulur. He's going to throw. Picked off by Lewis Wright. He's still on his feet. Still on his feet. Still. And finally down. In Dallas territory, a 57-yard return. Listen to the crowd.
Picks off the ball and takes it up the sideline. I said the closer you get to the goal line, the tougher this guy is, the tougher this defense is. I've always felt Louis Wright was one of the best corners in football. When I was coaching, there's 3 guys that I'd never messed with. Louis Wright was one, Mel Blount was the other, and Emmett Thomas was the other.
Tell you, John, he got a great block down at about the 10-yard line by Steve Wilson. It really is what's sprung him.
Tell you one thing, I think if I'm going to throw down there, I'm surprised the Cowboys threw because they could have gotten the first down. But if I'm going to, the one guy I'm not going to throw on is Louis Wright.
1st and 10, Denver. They're at the Cowboy 43-yard line. Sewell is the man in motion. They throw it back to Winder. Shoved out of bounds by Ron Fellows and Jeff Rohr. A gain of 5 nevertheless. Steve Pulur. The rest of the Cowboys on the sideline lending some encouragement.
Well, of course, that's the time a young quarterback needs encouragement. You don't need all the pats on the backs when you throw the touchdowns. You need them when you throw the interceptions.
Word on Randy White is that he will not be back in this half. maybe the second half. We don't know yet. 2nd and 5. Sewell split wide right. Kay is the movement. Pitch is again back to Winder. And this time, too tall Jones had him and lost him. Bill Bates came up to finish things off. A gain of 2.
I was watching Clarence Kay on that thing block, and Dan Reeves was saying, he said, I don't know what it is. He said, but blockers just can't get off of Kay. And I was watching him that time, and the blocker couldn't get off of Kay. And he said, and I don't think he holds much either.
Been called for holding only one time. Watson comes wide to the left. Sampson is wide right. Jackson also in the game to the left. Elway wants him to come and talk to him. Elway out of the pocket. Chase finally finds a man open. It's Will Height. Everson Walls on the stop. What a gain of 12 on a Denver first down.
I think that play, sometimes it looks like it's not designed. I think this is designed. They start here in the shotgun. I know it's designed. You see, they pull the lineman out. Then he runs out to the left. Then he comes back to the right all the time looking for guys open. Then he finds Gerald Wilhite all by himself. But I think that's what they want to do. They want to get him in a shotgun, get him back there, run this defensive line, tire him out, and, of course, still get guys open.
They have it 1st and 10 at the 25. They start Sewell in motion. Winder again. Winder down the sideline, knocked out of bounds by Bates. But he got 8.
You know, that's not a bad play. Watch Clarence Kay here on the end of the line of scrimmage. You see him block Hegman? You see him get to him, stay with him, stay with him. You see how he can't get off him? He's still blocking him. Look, he's still there. And that's the side, of course, that Winder went to and got outside of that thing.
Got his 8 yards.
And that's a tough block, though. To block a linebacker, you tell the halfback it's all the way outside of you.
2nd and 1.5. Sewell again, the man in motion. Winder again, the ball carrier. He got a first down. Stopped by Bob Otto.
Yeah, but that's not a bad time to run the sweep. It looks like Sammy Winder's getting a little tired, too. He raised the hand to come out. But, you know, you run those guys when the quarterback's scrambling, then you give the ball to the halfback around the end, and you run them again.
1st and 10 at the 13. Broncos have it, no score as yet. The Cowboys were down close. The interception and the 57-yard return gave it back to Denver. They hand straight ahead. Ken Bell, the ball carrier. He gets down about the 10. A gain of 3. Broncos, one thing that Dan Reeves has done that I think really helps him a lot is he gets everybody involved in the pictures. You said the other day, everybody's going to get a letter this year.
Yeah, and they all have a thing. You know, I mean, 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers, the running backs. Everyone has to be ready to play.
2nd and 7. It's Winder again. Spins, and he is hit by John Dutton while he was spinning and belted backwards. He still got about a yard, but he was really popped by Dutton.
Yeah, I've never been much of a spinner, but I imagine that'd be the worst thing that could happen to you coming out of the spin. Watch the right side of the line here. Elway made a little block there on down, but watch, how would that be? You just come out of your spin, and whap, there's a big number 78 staring you in the face.
That might affect your memory.
You see Elway make a block?
Yeah,
Downs came on a blitz, and Elway blocked him.
3rd and 6. Sewell in motion. Elway. They pick it up. He's got Wilhite in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. extra point. Gary Kubiak, Broncos backup quarterback, is the holder. Carlos is good.
Watch how cool Elway is. He does the whole thing. He puts Sewell in motion, brings him back, looks out there, Elway, boom, he finds Will Height, and he really zipped that thing in there.
Just as proud as the people who are drinking it today.
Still staring at it. Hey, Jimmy.
That's the situation. Denver leading 7-0 with 9:38 left to play in the first half. The scoring drive, the Broncos kept it 8 plays, went 43 yards, and then Elway threw a 9-yard touchdown pass to Will Height. Rich Carlos will kick off. Darryl Black and Robert Levette, number 29, back for the Cowboys. Here's Carlos' kick. It's a dandy. Pinned him in the corner. He slipped. Did Levette? He's knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line. 7-0 Denver. The second quarter with 9.5 minutes left to play in the first half. The Broncos on top.
John.
Only the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
The beauty of patience is its gentleness.
With John Madden, Pat Summerall, and we're at Mile High Stadium in Denver. The Cowboys this year have been slow out of the gate in spite of all the points they've scored. But first and third quarter, -5 in the turnover ratio. Now that's -6. They haven't helped their point situation. In the second and fourth, it's been considerably better. Banks and Newsom are wide to the right. Walker the lone setback. Back to Walker. Caught behind the line by Mecklenburg.
Now you're wondering, if you're going to run the ball to that side, you have to block Mecklenburg. This guy, watch him. He's going to come in a blitz. 77, right behind Rulon Jones. You see him? He sneaks up. Boom, the ball's hit. He hits that gap. That allows the penetration. No one blocks him, and Herschel Walker doesn't have a chance. Dan Reeves said that's what they wanted to do. Get Walker in the backfield before he got started running.
Loss of 5, make it second and 15. Valor saves the throw. Throws a grounder. Doug Cosby, I think, was the intended receiver.
He was, but he was surrounded by 4 guys. That was lucky. That was a one-hopper, because had not, that would have been an interception. You know, the way they play this offense under Paul Hackett is they have 3 reads. 1, 2, 3. Now, it looked like Cosby was the number 1 read, but there were 4 orange jerseys around the read.
You better take your reading somewhere else.
I'd go to number 2 or 3.
Valor, a deafening roar. For safety. And there's a penalty marker down anyway. There's a flag down. Valor was down in the end zone. It's going to be 9-0 no matter what happens.
I'll tell you, these fans understand and love defense.
Offense, penalty decline, safety.
Rulon Jones.
Rulon Jones is playing over here, and he's on this side right here. And they like to get him with Mecklenburg. He just gets a big push on that. He usually plays left end. On that play, he plays the right tackle. They had a stunt going. He just ran right through it. He got held and still got this sack.
Denver 9, Dallas 0. Second quarter.
Of course, the safety, you get 2 points for the defense. Now the offense gets the free kick. So they have to kick from their 20. They can use any kind of kick, and of course it's usually the punter, as it is in this case. So you get the double dipper on defense, you get the 2, plus you're going to get the ball back in good field position.
It's going to be Will Height at his 20. To about the 42. Tripped up by Todd Fowler. 60-yard kick by Saxon. A return of 22, so it nets 38. The Broncos will take over, leading 9-0. 9-0. Denver leads Dallas with 8:31 left to play in the first half. Randy White, as you know, was hurt earlier. Mark Tuine has taken his place now. Bob Otto had been playing there, but now it's Tuine. Winder and Will Height behind Elway. Sewell in motion again. Will Height stopped and read it and cut it back for 4. Ed Jones came from the other side.
You know, the interesting thing, Tuine was the offensive player, just moved to defense. Now watch, he comes in here and they're going to double him. Watch a left guard and Bill Bryan, the center, come out. Look, Bishop and Bryan are just riding him down. That was planned for Randy White. They planned on doubling Randy White. Now Mark Tuine comes in, just moved over from offense. They said, what? I got to take what they had planned for White?
Actually, he didn't do a bad job.
No, taking on a deuce.
2nd and 6. Elway hit by Eugene Lockhart was Sammy Winder.
You know, here's what they do in the Polaroid. And you see how the Polaroid helps is they're looking at the Polaroid on the sidelines now, and they're explaining the coverage. You see, you can take a Polaroid before the ball snap, or you can take it after. So they're showing where they are when you're ready to throw the ball. That was the Broncos sideline. That's the defensive side of it. They got the whole list of everything that the Cowboys have done. They got all their Polaroids there so they can study every situation.
3rd and 7, Elway out of the shotgun. In the pocket, now flush out of the pocket, and now going deep, and has Mark Jackson. What a throw by John Elway. 50 yards. Elway to Jackson.
That's not even a great quarterback throw, Pat. That's a Superman throw. I don't know that there's anyone else in the NFL that makes this throw. Sampson runs an out. Mark Jackson runs an out, then an up. But Elway scrambling around, running, hit that thing on the run. Watch this one. He starts out here. Now he can't find anything. Now he starts to scramble. But look at that, how he threw that ball that far, over 50 yards, and hit him right on the run. That is an amazing football play.
He threw while on one leg. 1st and goal. Will Height jams down close to the goal line. Steve Diassi finally tripped him up, but he's down to about the 1. 2nd and goal at the 1.
Look at these fans. They shake the place, man. They love this team. I'll tell you, these fans make more noise than any fans in the National Football League. I know it from having been in the sideline over there.
They didn't like you here at one time.
No.
2nd down. They need a yard for a touchdown. They give it to Will Height. Airborne and touchdown. Second of the day. Rich Carlos with Kubiak holding will try the extra point. It's good.
Let's look at this and see if Will Height really got in. It looked like he got spun
been a Denver explosion, and the crowds are now exploding. 16-0, the Broncos lead the Cowboys. Robert Lovett standing back deep, along with Darryl Clack, number 42, for Dallas. Harless, a high kick. Lovett from 2 yards deep in the end zone. No place to go. He fell down at about the 13.
Let's watch that touchdown again, or not the touchdown, but the big play to Mark Jackson. Now watch what happens. We'll do it here in a two-part. We'll see the snap. They're in the spread formation. Now Elway goes back here. Now we're going to stop it right here. See, he doesn't have anything open here. He doesn't have anything open here. Right now he has nothing open. So he has to buy some time. So now he starts to run out to the right. He finds Jackson out here. If we stop it here, and we see that right here he has a step, and then he decides to throw him the big one.
In the meantime, the Cowboys have gotten nothing underway. The handoff is to Herschel Walker. Walker around the outside, penalty marker down. Tony Lilly, who played against Walker in college many, many times, came up to make the tackle.
Be a holding penalty against the Cowboys. They're going nowhere fast. I'll tell you, this Bronco defense is one of those overall swarmers.
Number 70, offense, first down.
And when they get you going backwards, they can keep you going backwards.
And they are hungry. We're at Mile High Stadium in Denver. Pat Summerall with John Madden. It is sold out for the 120th consecutive time in regular season. Over 75,000 on hand. And they love the Broncos. First and 18. The Cowboys back at their own 7. Handoff Walker behind Richards, and he's caught from behind by Jackson.
I'll tell you, that's tough. Watch Mecklenburg here. If we can see this, watch him. He started outside, shifted up in the tight end, plays off Crosby, holds him, plays off the guard pulling, stacks the whole thing up, gets the pile going backward. I'll tell you, Carl Mecklenburg is one of the most dominant defensive players in the National Football League.
It's interesting, we were talking to some of the Bronco officials yesterday, and they were saying he doesn't look like he should be that strong. Can't do those things.
He doesn't have those big arms and stuff, but he bench presses over 400 pounds.
Valor back in the end zone, chased again by Rulon Jones. And they say his arm was going forward. That was very nearly another safety.
I think his arm was going forward. Pat, but the question I would ask is, who was he throwing it to? Is there anyone there other than his right tackle?
No one.
I don't think so. I think that should have been illegal grounding. And that should have been a safety because the only guy there was Cooper, the right tackle. And he sure as heck didn't want it.
No. It's regroup time for Tom Landry and troops. Over with Danny White, Steve Pallur, the quarterback, he'll operate out of the spread. They start rocking the stands again. 3rd down and 16 from the 9. Screen pass to Walker. Not nearly enough for the first down, and Mecklenburg and Jones are the first 2 there again. You know this stadium has to be well built.
I would bet when they add them up, when they add everything up today, that this will be the largest attendance in Denver Bronco history.
Tickets were tough to come by, to say the least.
And they don't have any no-shows in this place.
Saxon's kick by Wilhite at his 45, straight ahead. Hit by Diossi and tripped up there after he gets into Dallas territory. 40-yard punt by Saxon. 8-yard return. 3:59 left to play in the first half. Broncos 16-0. Don't forget, next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern, CBS Sports presents college football. Most of you will see Heisman Trophy hopeful Lorenzo White and Michigan State take on Bo Schembechler's explosive and fourth-ranked Michigan Wolverines. Or you'll see a battle for Pac-10 supremacy between Arizona and UCLA. Next Saturday on CBS, downtown Denver. And the weather, there was some threats of storms and things as we came here for this weekend, but it's been just perfect. First down, Broncos at the Cowboy 47. Sewell again in motion. Look out, look out. Intended for Watson and broken up. Michael Downs and Bates back there with him.
I'll tell you, it looked like Downs got there a little early. You know, here's where they take the Polaroid. We were looking at the coaches taking the Polaroids. They take the Polaroids up there, then they run them down to the sideline. Watch the coaches there, their reaction. They're saying they had it because they call it from up there. They know it's coming. They're saying, we got him, we got him. Now you don't got him, but they think that they got interference. They think that number 26 hits the receiver before he gets there.
Second and 10, Elway starts to his left, throws the shovel pass, almost picked off by Jim Jeffcoat in the air.
I'll tell you, that's an old Cowboy play. I'll bet you that these guys were working against that. Last week, Denver used this play 3 times in the first half alone. Now, Jeffcoat, I'm sure, is looking for it. You see him? He kind of came there. He saw Elway. Then he could see Will Height coming inside, so he went to get in between. He's saying, I know it. You know, Ernie told me about that all week.
Shades of Preston Pearson.
Well, that would have been a big one. And he picked that off and rumbled into the end zone.
Elway out of the spread formation again on 3rd and 10. They're retreating. Has some time and has Everson Walls close to Steve Watson. And the Broncos will have to punt.
You know, a strong-arm quarterback like a John Elway here has so much confidence that he thinks he can get that thing in there anyway. You know, there was about 3 guys around Watson, and he still tried to zero it in, or zoom it in, or shoot it in, or zip it in, or whatever.
If anybody had been hit by that ball, it would have hurt.
Oh, he threw one yesterday in practice to Stutter. They were practicing a tackle eligible. So it zoomed by his head and went about 50 yards, and Stutter looked back and said, what in the heck was that?
Will back to punt, and Levette back deep for Dallas at his own 10. Heading for the sideline. And out of bounds at about the 18, it seems. Make it the 20-yard line. So, with 3:37 left to play in the first half, the Cowboys have it. 1st and 10, trailing 16-0.
While the press...
They have totaled minus 1 yard on offense in the second quarter.
And Herschel Walker's carried the ball 6 times for 8 yards.
Walker is now behind Pallure. Pallure chased again. Looking in the direction of Sherrard, but that Denver defense is like nobody is trying to block them. I know they are, but it doesn't look like it.
I'll tell you what they do on that is they're coming here. Hundley, the inside linebacker there, they bring him up there, and Pallure just had to get rid of that ball. But watch the rush from his right side. Here comes Hundley straight up the middle. They don't get him blocked. Pallure just had to get rid of that ball to avoid taking the sack.
The receiver had no time to make any sort of an adjustment. Pallure fakes to Walker. This time he had some time, and he gets Tony Hill. It's amazing what you can do if they're not looking at your eyes.
You know, Steve Pallure had only thrown 8 balls in the National Football League. I mean, that had been the extent of his career so far. So all that they knew about him since he's been with the Cowboys is how he's done in practice. And of course, as you say, in practice, you have protection. And, you know, it's unfair to evaluate anyone, the rush that he's been getting.
Walker's lined up this time in the slot as Pallure goes back to throw. And again, he has some time. And he gets it out to Newsom. Newsom belted out of bounds by Ricky Hundley after a gain of maybe 4. Call it 2.
You know, in the last game, they seemed to feature Herschel Walker a lot, you know, putting him at different positions, but getting the ball to him. Today, they don't seem to be doing that as much. They seem to be spreading it around the receivers, the tight end, to Newsom and so on, and they haven't been getting the ball to Walker.
2nd and 8. The line of scrimmage is at Dallas 33. Now they want Walker to move. Now Cosby's the man who moves. And now they come out of it, and they shouldn't have. Flags are down everywhere as Cosby is knocked out of bounds at about the first down marker by Randy Robbins. But they were confused on offense.
You know, if they didn't blow the whistle before they even got the ball started. Look at this, they're talking there. Newsom is telling Herschel Walker to go to the other side. Walker says, what? No, I'll just stay here. Then Cosby's in motion. Now where do I go? That wasn't the illegal motion there. That was all right.
Illegal motion. Number 34, offense, 2nd down.
Well, they said it was.
Yeah, but that's wrong. He wasn't doing it. The only thing they can say is after he got set, that he has to set for a second.
And I think he was.
Yeah, that looked okay to me. I mean, that didn't look like, it was confusion, but it didn't look like a penalty type of confusion. See, here it is. Now he moves here. Now, if he's set for a second, it's okay. I don't know, they're just a little picky.
2nd and 13 from the 28. Forward handoff this time to Walker. Walker gets to about the 36. Stopped by Mecklenburg again.
You know, when that Mecklenburg comes out of a game, he usually has some rushes and sacks and knockdowns and tips and I mean, his defensive chart looks like a basketball player or something.
Actually, you know, John, that seems to be sort of something that's evolving in football with what the Raiders do with Howie Long and now what they do with Mecklenburg. You have a good player like that and you keep moving him around. Give him a new look.
Yeah, remember the Giants did that with Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah. 3rd down. Pallure has it almost picked off. Almost by Randy Robbins. But he was throwing while he was leaning backwards.
Look at Doug Cosby here. He's going down to talk to that deep official way down the field, telling him he was held. There's a real veteran. He knows the official who keys the tight end. Cosby went down there and said, hey, he held me the whole play.
And they've just gotten the 2-minute warning. And the Broncos lead it 16-0.
Today's real estate investments come in all shapes and sizes, but the tax laws have changed, and shaping your real estate investments depends on having up-to-date knowledge. That's why Century 21 offices are introducing Investor Days with investor workshops. And this
is talking about, here's Cosby here. He's going to make a move, and he gets held just coming out of the move. Watch him there. See, he's moving it in. Then he's going to pivot out. Now watch the hold right there. The grab, that throws him just off enough so that he can't get outside. That was Randy Robbins, number 48, holding him. And watch Cosby's reaction.
Here's Saxon back to punt. Will Height back deep for Denver. That one will stay up there a while. Will Height signals fair catch and gets on the ground at about the 20. Broncos will take over with 1:50 left to play in the first half, and they are shutting out the Cowboys 16-0. 44-yard punt by Saxon, no return. Steve Pallure over on the sideline.
And I'm telling you, he's talking to Paul Hackett now, and they're talking about, either what just went on or what they expect to go on the next time they get the ball. You know, he looks a lot like Elway, doesn't he? I mean,
He does.
They look like they could be twin brothers.
Sewell in motion. Winder cutting upfield for a Denver first down. Tuine tripped him up, but he picked up 11.
I tell you, this offensive line of the Broncos has really done a good job. Watch number 70 stuttered there. He gets Jeffcoat to the inside. Brian comes down. They get good movement there. Then Brian comes off. He comes off his block, makes another block and a kick out, and Winder runs off that. That's a hustling group of guys that work there. They're not, as we said earlier, they're not the biggest offensive line, but they really work well together as a group.
Denver took this timeout, so they have 2 left. Coming up at halftime, of course, Brent Musburger and Dick Vermeil with scores and highlights from around the league. Also, Irv Cross will have a live report from the field here at Mile High Stadium. That's all coming up at the half on the NFL Today. There have been some rather shocking scores today. Philadelphia shut out Atlanta. Anytime it is nice and cool, mountains and perhaps some showers over in the background.
You know what they always say about Denver, if you don't like the weather, hang around a while, it'll change, and it's in the process of it.
Here's Elway, again rolling out of the pocket. Got a man deep and wide open. Clint Sampson looked over the outside shoulder, the one closest to the sideline, and Elway led him to the inside.
And I'll tell you, the Cowboys were lucky on that because their corner who was covering Sampson was Ron Fellows, and he fell down. Watch this, he was wide open. Watch him coming off the line here. Now watch right there, as he went on a stop and go, Fellows slipped and fell down. Boy, that was something, and Sampson went by. Elway knew he should have had that one. When you get a guy, when the corner falls down, and there's no one out there but your guy, and it's not a touchdown.
All you can do is hold your head.
Or hit your head. Give it a double slapper.
Second down, here's Elway retreating again. Now he comes out of the pocket, and he's got a lot of room. Elway out of bounds midfield. A gain, a scramble of 19 yards. What a day he's having.
You know, Elway is not only a nimble quarterback and a good runner, but he's a strong guy. Watch this, as the rush is coming in, there's one of the defenders right there. You see him right there. He has a hold of him. Elway is big enough to run through that type of thing. That's the way Terry Bradshaw was. You know, some quarterbacks, they're like paper. You know, you just put a hand out there and boom, they go right down. But he just ran right through Bob Otto on that play, put his hand out. Elway went whack right through the hand.
They stopped the clock with 1:21 left to play. Now Otto jumps off sides. Elway's going to run through with the play. Now the Cowboys are going to chase him out of bounds. But that play will be called back. Victor Scott. Otto jumped before the ball was snapped.
Well, poor Otto, you know, when you get in there and you're taking Randy White's place and they're double teaming you, and you finally get through on a rush and the guy runs away from your rush.
Number 76, defense, first down.
All you can do is jump off sides.
Pretty good balance, pretty much what Dan Reeves wanted. 19 times they ran with it, 13 times he's thrown it.
Well, of course, they've had success with that running. You know, Sammy Winder is a good runner, and he's made some big plays on sweeps and off tackles. Good line blocking.
Elway back to throw. Has his man Clint Sampson out of bounds.
They're throwing a penalty down there, Pat. They're saying, I think, that he hit him after he was out of bounds.
They're talking about Bill Bates, number 40.
There's Sampson, perfect throw. He's out of bounds. Bates gives him that right arm, and it's going to cost the Cowboys 15 extra yards.
And put Rich Carlos down even closer to field goal range.
Another completed pass. A personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 30. Defense. Range it. First down.
Bates is still over talking to the, I guess you could call that talking.
Well, he said he couldn't pull up. You know, a guy like Bates, who is so aggressive, when he runs that far, at the end of a long run, you expect a hit.
Somebody.
You want some contact. You don't want to run 40 yards and no contact. If you did that, you'd be a track man.
It's 1st and 10 at the 12 then. Not much rush, and Elway fires down the middle to Winder. I beg your pardon, to Wilhite. He's got it. There's a penalty marker down on the other side of the field.
Well, John Dutton was in it there. I think Billy Bryan and Keith Bishop. Dutton's about a foot taller than Bryan.
See what the flag is about.
Number 25. Defense. Automatic first down.
Those guys are just talking there. There's no penalty there. That wasn't a penalty. But that's what goes on in those pits.
The penalty took place in the secondary. I think it was against Everson Walls. Against Steve Watson. Automatic first down, 1st and goal at the 8.
I'll tell you, the Broncos have a good move going here, but about 20 yards of those were penalties.
Just over a minute left to play in the first half. The Broncos have 2 timeouts left. Sewell in motion. This is Winder inside the 5 to about the 3. Eugene Lockhart. It might be the 4. Jeff Rohr also on the stop. Broncos take a timeout, and they have now 1 left. Pretty even in the first quarter, but the Broncos have really dominated things. Interception set it up.
You know, the Broncos are dominating here the way the Chicago Bears dominate. And I'll tell you, of all the teams I've seen, this looks like the best AFC team. Of course, we saw the Bears last week against Cincinnati, and they looked like the Bears of old. And I mean, you don't have to pick people that are going to be there at the end or anything, but right now, from what I've seen, I think the Broncos and the Bears look like the 2 best teams in the NFL.
Best that we've seen. I don't think there's much doubt about that. We haven't seen them all. Next week, we'll see another good team, the Washington Redskins, against these Dallas Cowboys in Dallas.
You know, the Redskins remind me a lot of Denver. That, you know, you don't say who's the guy or just 1 or 2 guys. It's kind of a team thing. And anytime you say that, I think that's a real credit to coaching. I think the Redskins with Joe Gibbs and the Broncos here with Dan Reeves, I think are 2 of the better coaches in the league.
And another good game, big game now. It didn't look like it would be a couple of weeks ago. The Eagles, who shut out Atlanta today, will face the Giants. Wilhite and Winder, 2nd and goal from the 5. 57 seconds left to play in the first half. Elway throws it up for grabs and throws it out of the end zone. Sort of a casual bootleg.
Elway didn't think it to be too casual for him because he's telling someone that they ran the wrong pattern. I think that's where he ended up throwing. He ended up throwing it out there to Watson. I don't think that's who he was complaining about.
I think someone else might have run a wrong pattern.
I think he was looking for someone inside that did something wrong, although Watson wasn't open either.
3rd and 5 at the 5. 3rd and goal at the 5. Here's Elway into the end zone. A flag is down. Penalty flag down. It's going to be holding against Denver.
You know, just up here you could see that coming, the way that Elway was looking. Usually a quarterback is looking downfield and at his receivers. He was looking straight ahead that time.
Number 54, offense, 3rd down.
The center, Keith Bishop.
course, Keith Bishop is the guy that would be blocking against Randy White. Randy White isn't in there. We can see him there. He's holding against Otto. He had his left hand up there. I don't know that Elway needed that block.
They'll bring it back to the 15. It's still 3rd and goal. And Elway will operate this time from the spread. He has Watson out to the right. Jackson is out there with him. He has time. He has Gerald Wilhite for a touchdown. What a catch Wilhite made. 15-yard shot from Elway.
Wilhite was up there as a wingback on the right-hand side. I tell you, when you can do this type of thing, when you can be down on the goal line, get a 10-yard penalty, doesn't affect you, just come right back, soon get another touchdown. I'll tell you, that is championship-type football.
That's a championship catch, too, by Wilhite. That ball was burning. Carles has his extra point blocked. Ron Fellows came around the corner to knock it down. That'll make it 22-0 in favor of the Denver Broncos, who have turned the second quarter into a highlight show.
You know, the one thing, watch Elway here how he drills this thing. I mean, he steps, he gets everything on it. Some guy says mustard. I don't know if that's mustard or velocity or something that just looks like a shot out of a cannon. Let's watch Ron Fellows against the extra point. He comes from this side, comes in around here, and blocks it right here in front. Block. Watch him, he comes from that outside there. You see now he flattens out right down the line of scrimmage, lays out, and there he gets the block. I don't know if Carlos got that ball up very high. Didn't it look like it was a little low?
He usually gets it up high, but from where Fellows was able to block it, it would seem that he didn't.
Where'd these barefoot guys come from?
I don't know, what was that you wrote on the screen right there at the end?
Doink,
Oh.
doink. That was where he blocked it, right where I put doink.
High kick this time by Carlos. It's Levette. 5 yards deep in the end zone. Will not bring it out. Denver 22, Dallas nothing. Second quarter, 40 seconds left to play in the first half. At the half, the NFL Today, Brent, Dick Vermeil with scores and highlights, and Irv Cross is here with us for a live report from down on the field here at Mile High Stadium. John Elway.
Remember the year that he was drafted? That was the year of the quarterback. They all came out. Elway was drafted first. Then Marino was the last one drafted. He went to the Super Bowl with the Dolphins. A lot of people wondered, did they make a mistake? Should he not have been drafted first? Of course, he was traded from the Colts. All that controversy. Well, I think he's answering those questions now.
Here's Pelluer. Down is Pelluer. The Broncos may have it. I don't know who has it. Glenn Titensor, I believe, number 63, came up with it. Randy Robbins made the hit. And the Cowboys are lucky that time.
Hey, that was Randy Robbins, the safety, the strong safety. He's taking a place of Dennis Smith. He was up in the line of scrimmage, and he came like he was shot out of a gun. In fact, the Broncos are taking a timeout now. They want to see if they can get another one. Well, I'll tell you, he really comes. Watch me. He's going to come from the left side of the screen. He's outside, and now he's going to come into the picture. There he comes, right there. Watch the hit that he put on Pelluer. Woo! That'll separate a man from a ball.
Danny White may be glad that he's not playing.
Yeah, they would, the Cowboys, if everyone had, like on Dallas, how they bring guys back with dreams.
Yeah.
Everyone ought to have like 5 moves and a dream. Maybe they could bring Roger Staubach back.
You mean the television show Dallas?
Yeah, the television show Dallas. Yeah, I mean, a guy leaves, and then they just bring him back and he's dreaming. Maybe the Cowboys wish they could bring some guys back, like Danny White, Randy White, bring him back. It was just a dream. Kevin Brooks.
Well, your ratings go up.
Tony Dorsett. Doesn't work in football.
2nd and 25. That's all the Broncos timeouts, by the way. They're back at the 5-yard line.
I bet the Broncos are thinking right now, after taking a timeout, they're thinking try and get another safety. Some kind of blitz here.
If you're the Cowboys now, you think about, let's just run it out since they're out of timeouts.
That's what I would think about.
They give it to Walker. Walker gets out. Stopped finally by Carl Mecklenburg. Into the first half. That's the end of it. With the score, a dominant Bronco team leading the Dallas Cowboys 22-0.
And when his dark past attempts to corner him,
My father's being tortured.
who are you to even attempt to judge me? The Equalizer fights back. Don't make me shoot! The explosive season premiere. The action's non-stop. Wednesday.
We began the day with 4 unbeaten teams, including the Super Bowl champion.
And he's going to go all the way if he can get back.
And all the way he went as Jim McMahon lit the fire that ignited Chicago, and they went to 5-0. Meanwhile, the Washington Redskins went deep into the heart of Dixie, down to New Orleans, where it was George Rogers who scored what turned out to be the winning touchdown.
Trying to get wide and bulls his way into the end zone. Touchdown.
But the Atlanta Falcons were not as successful. The Philadelphia Eagles, coached by Buddy Ryan, stormed the Falcons with 7 sacks and recorded a shutout, 16-0. Welcome to New York, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger with Dick from here. Hey, Buddy Ryan's doing a number with that defense. They held Eric Dickerson last week. Now they shut out the Falcons.
It's apparent that the new program has matured now. They're playing well together. They believe in themselves. And the big thing, confidence that they can win.
And the Eagles will next be taking on the New York Giants at 2-3. The Falcons are 4-1. Now, New England over Miami. The Dolphins are 1-4. This is the worst start in the history of Don Shula's professional coaching career. Watch Craig James behind some powerful blocking, get to the corner and score. It was 17-0. Now, Steve Grogan was wigwagging signals over there and helping out with Tom Ramsey. Little did he know that Tony Eason would have to be replaced. Eason got it to Irving Fryer here for a 38-yard score. Dick, what about the injury to Eason? How serious?
They say it's a cracked rib, Brent, but they won't know for sure detail-wise until tomorrow.
All right, and the Patriots are 3-2 with that 34-7 win. We've had our biggest instant replay controversy of the season yet. 24-17. Now, the Chiefs were leading in this game, 17-0. Now, this play was called a touchdown. And so they showed this angle. And the official upstairs, watch the right foot. He calls down to the field and he says incomplete. The referee thinks that he said complete. Now, you're a coach. What do you think about all this turmoil surrounding instant replay?
You want me to tell you the truth?
Yeah, tell me the truth.
I think now the fans are finding out what coaches have known for a long time. They do make mistakes. It can drive you crazy.
Yeah, but should we keep instant replay?
Oh, sure, because eventually they'll smooth it out and everything else, but it does prove that, hey, they're humans and they do make mistakes.
Well, the Raiders will take it. They're not giving it back. It's 24-17. They go to 2-3, and the Chiefs to 3-2 on the season. The Redskins, as we told you, they're 5-0, 14-6 over the Saints. The Giants now 4-1 on the year, 13-6 over the Cardinals. Cleveland over Pittsburgh. This was perhaps the most entertaining game of the day. Marty Schottenheimer's Browns came from behind twice to win it. What a kickoff return here, Dick.
Gerald McNeil takes one the distance, 100 yards, the third kickoff return for a touchdown this year, with over 400 attempts. So that's a great play by Gerald McNeil.
5'7", nicknamed the Ice Cube, and he stuck an ice pick in the heart of the Steelers. First time that Art Modell's ever won a game in Three Rivers. Standing ovation for Ernest Biner, who gets in 27-24, and the Browns at 3-2 are tied with the Cincinnati Bengals atop the AFC Central Division. Detroit over Houston today, 24-13, and what about this combination for Darryl Rogers?
Eric Hipple hits Herman Hunter, the cast-off from the Philadelphia Eagles, number 36, little odd, right over the middle. He walks in, no one to make the play.
some cast off on that play.
Yeah, you did.
24-13, the final count. And Cincinnati runs it up. The Green Bay Packers are 0-5. That is the worst start in the history of that storied franchise. Chicago, 23-0. Jim McMahon was 12 of 18, 214 yards and 1 touchdown. We'll check the late breaking games right after these messages from your local stations.
Next Saturday, it's the Michigan Wolverines, a team of explosive dimensions. But can they control the one-man explosion of Michigan State's Lorenzo White, hot on the Heisman hunt? And on Sunday, the action starts with the NFL Today. Then the red-hot Redskins, boiling with the firepower of Jay Schrader, take on the force that is Herschel Walker and the Cowboys. Or see the Giants sparked by the penetrating power of Mark Bavaro.
Just how good is Buddy Ryan's defense? Well, last week he held Eric Dickerson to 58 yards rushing total. This afternoon, Dickerson has 123 yards already for the Los Angeles Rams. Same number of carries. On the sideline, Jim Everett is in uniform, but he is not yet playing. It is up to Steve Dills. And here is the great one, Eric Dickerson on his way, 40 yards, breaks free there at the 10, goes on in for the touchdown. And Lehman Bennett can only hope, Dick, that Steve Young can get him back in this game.
Well, he has the mobility. When he can't find the receiver open down there, he's going to take it and stick it in the corner of the end zone.
And the Buccaneers are hanging tight. Now, the Buffalo-New York Jet game. O'Brien, 4 yards to Toon, and then Kelly comes back, and he goes to Bell, 40 yards for the tire in that one. Indianapolis and San Francisco are a shocker. The Colts score a couple of touchdowns in one game for the first time this year, tied with the Niners at 14 all. And, of course, Denver all over Dallas. I'll tell you, this is the first time all year that I've heard a crowd in the NFL that sounded like a revved-up college crowd. Irv Cross, it's got to be hard to be heard out there.
You know, Brent, one of the problems the Cowboys was concerned about coming in here was crowd noise. Now, down the close end of the stadium where Ballure was caught for his safety, he had some difficulty getting his signals, and his offensive line couldn't hear it. You'll see him in the spread formation, standing there with his hands cupped, yelling like crazy for his offensive line to hear. They don't quite get off on time, and he's trapped back there for the safety. Now, the Cowboys came into this game anticipating the crowd noise problem, and they had planned to have, from the spread formation, to have Tom Rafferty, the center, call the signals. They might make that adjustment in the third quarter. On the injury side, of course, Randy Wright had the hamstring pull, had an ice pack on it the entire second quarter. We don't know if he's going to come back or not in the third quarter, Brent. Let's go to Pat and John.
Okay, Irv, thank you. You look at the first half that John Elway had, and although the Denver defense has been very, very impressive and very thorough, Elway still, I think, is a story.
Well, I think so. I mean, I don't know that you can blame the defense. I mean, Elway made some great plays, some plays that there's nothing you can do about on defense. I mean, he comes back, he stops, he looks, he can't find anything, runs out to the right, heaves the ball 50 yards, and I think the problem for the Cowboys was just too much Elway in that first half.
Let's look at some of those plays and look at this great ability that this guy's got.
Well, this is the one we're talking about here, where he starts in there, can't find anything, sits there, decides he'll run out to the right, and as you said, just threw it off 1 foot, throws that ball 50 yards in the air.
And this one.
Well, of course, this is a one to Will Height. No, it isn't the one to Will. Yeah, it's the one to Will Height on the left, because he threw two to Will Height. One to the left, and then just before half, he drilled that one in there on the right side to Will Height.
It doesn't look like, getting back to that Denver defense, John, it doesn't look like the Cowboys blocking scheme, whatever it is, has any idea how to contain them.
Well, the one thing that they haven't been successful on first down. In fact, on first down, they've averaged -1 per carry. So they have a new quarterback playing, and they're always in that situation where they're second and long and third and long, and that's tough.
And they've been pretty well able to control Herschel Walker also. So we still have another half of football coming. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
We're in. Of the National Football League is sponsored by Oldsmobile Quality. Feel it at your nearest Oldsmobile dealer. The U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. And by the makers of Prestone 2 Anti-Freeze. Don't push your luck, change it with fresh Prestone.
Denver in the background, Mile High Stadium in the foreground. It is packed as usual, 120 consecutive sellouts. they've had during regular season. And one of the reasons they come here with such regularity is players like Carl Mecklenburg. He has done everything.
Well, you know, they understand defense here in Denver. And here's Mecklenburg. Watch him. He lines up over the tight end. He lines up everywhere, up and down the line of scrimmage. Watch him. He plays Cosby to the inside. Here comes Richard, takes him on, stuffs that block, stuffs Walker all at the line. I mean, he takes on two guys and makes a tackle in the backfield. But look where he's been lining up all day. There's 5 positions. You got the 2 tackles, 2 guards, center, and the tight end. He's lined up 5 times over the right guard, over the right tackle, 3 over the right guard, 5 times over the center, once over the left guard, 10 times over the left tackle, and 6 times over the tight end. That's playing a piano.
Well, we were talking about, before about what the Raiders do with Howie Long, what the Giants do with Lawrence Taylor. In some situations, what the Bears do with Richard Dent. It seems to be something that they'd like to give the offensive blockers a different look on every series. There used to be a time that coaches didn't think you could do that.
Well, when you get a special player that can play linebacker, can play line, and has those abilities where right and left and that type of thing doesn't bother him, then you just go ahead and do it. We did a little of that with Ted Hendricks. In fact, he reminds me somewhat of Ted Hendricks.
Harless kick goes to Robert Levitt. He lets it bounce on the in line and downs it in the end zone. And the Cowboys will operate from their own 20-yard line. Steve Pallure started at quarterback, and he's still going to be in that situation. And it was a frightening situation for him in the first half.
I'm sure one of the things they talked about is what they're going to do on first down. Because, as I said, they average -1 yards on first down. Now, that gives you a hole to climb out of on second and third down.
So the Cowboys, from their own 20-yard line, their average yards on first down, -1. You don't win many like that. He's going to throw on first down again if he has a chance for Banks. Incomplete and no interference call. Louis Wright. Back on the coverage. Well, what a good back he is.
Well, of course, they came on a blitz that time. The Broncos did. They figured out that they were going to get him. They were going to make him throw from a prone position. But again, Louis Wright is one of the tough guys. He's been in the league 12 years, been a corner for all that time, but he still doesn't give you much, if anything.
He never has.
I remember that was one guy when we played the Broncos, I would never mess with Louis Wright.
Denver showing blitz again. Pallure. Banks out of bounds. Louis Wright on the coverage. That's a Dallas first down. A gain of 12.
Well, of course, they came right back and they messed with Louis Wright. They said, if we can't get it deep on him, let's see if we can get an out in front of him.
I don't think they're going to tire him out. Dan Reeves was saying this mile-high city, of course, takes some time adjusting to the difference in altitude. He said he thinks it takes at least 6 weeks.
Well, it took he himself 6 weeks. He said he tried to play handball the first week he got here and darn near died.
Newsom by Rulon Jones. He gets out of his grasp and maybe got a couple before Greg Cragen took him down.
You know what I've always thought about these Bronco fans, and I said it, is that, they had that orange crush. They had the defense thing going for years. They have Joe Collier, who's the defensive coordinator here, probably the best or the top guy in the NFL, and they really understand and appreciate defense. They understand, what it is when you blitz and you get long yardage and what you do on first down. They understand all those things.
2nd and 7. Here they come. Pallure throws it up for grabs. He had to. Mecklenburg was there. And there were 2 or 3 others breathing down Pallure's throat as he turned around.
I don't know that that's breathing down. That's kind of hanging on his neck. Watch 77, right up the middle. Mecklenburg's coming up there. Pallure play fake. When he got turned around, there he was staring at a 2 7s.
Play fake didn't take.
No, and then how's that? You come out and you see this guy looking you right in your face when you come out of your play fake.
Ken Woodard was back there also. That'll make it 3rd down and 7. Cosby is lined up inside Banks this time to the right. Tony Hill left. It's Banks in motion. Over the head of Banks. Couldn't come out of his break. Mike Harden was the defender.
Well, they brought the safety on that one. Here's Coach Dan Reeves there. He has two friends with him. There's Leroy Jordan, who of course was a middle linebacker. You say, now what side is he on? Played for the Cowboys, played for Tom Landry, played with Dan Reeves. Probably on the Cowboy side, right? Wrong.
He was on the Denver side. Saxon back to punt. They don't try to block it. Saxon gets off a good kick. Will Height retreats to the 14. Will Height gets out to about the 27, and down goes a flag as Steve Diassi tripped him up. 51-yard punt by Saxon, a 14-yard return. Will Height, left shoulder, left arm, looks like. Might be a little numb.
You know, earlier, remember on the first play of the game, he went down, and there was something wrong with his fingers at that time. I think there he just got hit on that bone. You know that bone when you get hit and it goes down your arm and numbs your arm and you get the tingling? The funny bone or the crazy bone or whatever that bone is.
Illegal block, number 22, on the run back. First down, timeout.
Tony Lilly was the offender. Denver in control. Opening seconds of quarter number 3, they lead Dallas 22-0. Denver coach Dan Reeves over on the sideline. And he's got that famous chart. That's something that he learned from Landry, those situations.
Well, you see how they have it broken down. It's first down, then they have second and 6+, second and less, and 2. Then they have third down and short yardage goal line. They have every situation broken down and the plays they want to use in order.
Lang in the backfield with Winder. That's Winder. He's hit by Hegman. And I don't think he got anything. They'll bring up the second down. Bring you up to date while we have a moment on the injury situation. Randy White has a pulled hamstring and he is out. Clarence Kay of Denver's in the game now. He has bruised ribs. He'll play, is playing. And Dennis Smith of Denver, the safety man, has a groin pull and he is out.
I'll tell you, the one that has to hurt the most is Randy White being out to the Cowboys, because we talked about how they already have 2 of their defensive linemen on injured reserve, and then to lose a player of his caliber.
Sewell by Downs and Jones. Nothing doing there. Everson Walls over to help out.
You know, one of the things that Dan Reeves was saying, that you got to get these safeties blocked. He said Michael Downs is a weak safety, and he always has the weak side inside, and then Bill Bates is a strong safety. And he says you just can't let those guys go unblocked in your running game. Most offensive teams don't count the safeties in their blocking thing. But the Broncos are today against these guys.
3rd and 11. Dallas going with a 3-man rush this time. Elway with all kinds of time. Almost picked off. Ron Fellows was one of the Cowboy defenders. The other is Victor Scott. They almost had a big interception.
And they're both down. That's Fellows, and Scott is in front of him. I think Scott hit a finger. I think got a finger or a hand jammed on that thing, either on the ball or on his own guy. But he dislocated a finger. Watch him. There's Fellows. Now watch 22 Scott will come into the picture right there. You see, and it looked like the ball, or maybe it was Fellows' shoulder pad that he caught the finger in. That's reacting to the ball.
Either one of them had an interception.
Had the other one not been there. But you don't know that. You can't look for your guy.
Fellows walking off. Scott is still down.
You know, that's what happened to Bill Bates. Bill Bates got that finger of his. In fact, he had to have surgery on it. They have 4 pins in his finger.
It's a horrible looking thing.
Oh, it sure is. But he jammed it in a shoulder pad. Dislocated, and you can see that's his right finger. It's the ring finger on Bates. But he said he was coming on a blitz, and he got his finger caught up in the shoulder pads of the quarterback.
Phil Simms.
And they put 4 screws in that right finger.
Denver 22, Dallas nothing. Don't forget college football coming up here on CBS. Michigan State against Michigan. Most of you in the country will see that. Or Arizona against UCLA. Michigan is ranked number 4. It's all live at 2:30 Eastern Time next Saturday here on CBS. Here goes Victor Scott.
And it is his hand. You see how he's holding his hand out there in front of him? They're going to take him right to the locker room.
Wheel standing back in the end zone to punt. Good kick. Lovett retreats to the 36. Is hit at the 25 by Daniel Hunter. He is the first man there. And the Cowboys will come on. X-rays for Victor Scott. That's why he's gone inside. That's why he's going inside. 51-yard punt, 5-yard return. Draining his right wrist.
You know, the interesting thing there, that's not the Cowboy locker room he's going in. That's the Bronco locker room. It's a Bronco side, so I'm sure that's where the X-ray machine is.
Rod Fellows twisted his knee and ankle, so they're checking him too at the moment. Running out of folks. First down, Dallas at their own 40-yard line. They trail 22-0. Valor back to Walker. Walker, maybe a yard, and curled backwards. Defense led by Jackson and Rulon Jones. Today's attendance at Mile High Stadium, 76,082. A new Mile High Stadium record. There were only 46 no-shows. And they usually boo the no-shows, even though they're not here.
I'm sure they will, but the reason that there's more people in here is they got some new luxury boxes, and they were sold out for the first time.
Second down and 9. Walker only got a yard. To unload, and a penalty flag is down. Valor has been unloaded a punt.
I'll tell you, the guy that's really causing a lot of trouble is that guy right there, 48, Randy Robbins. He's taken Dennis Smith's place, and he's been up there and blitzing and coming from the outside and over the tight end.
Offense, second down.
Hey, he's been a force in there today, Robbins has. You know, that's the type of thing when you have a championship caliber team, a guy can go down and you can bring in a guy and he can play just as well.
Here comes Victor Scott back out after the X-rays, keeping that arm elevated. And now it's wrapped. Second and 14. Cowboys back now at their own 36. Unable to generate anything. Newsom juggles, and Newsom will have a Dallas first down in Denver territory for the first time in a long time. Steve Wilson knocked him out of bounds, and Newsom got 30 yards.
I'll tell you, Newsom was open all the way. That was Ken Woodard. A linebacker was on him, chased him from the start. Now watch him. He's right here in the left of the screen. He's going to come right up the middle. See 30? Now watch 52 starts chasing him here. He's behind him all the way. And then he bobbles the ball, gets it up. Woodard still chasing, and finally gets here. Yeah.
Dallas first down at the Denver 39. 10.5 minutes left to play third quarter with Denver leading 22-0. Walker's the lone setback. Give to Walker. And so, inside the 30 to about the 28 before Mike Harden tripped him up. A gain of 6. We're at Mile High Stadium in Denver. We're looking at a record crowd, over 76,000. Pat Summerall and John Madden. Head coach Dan Reeves yelling encouragement. And the Broncos lead it 22-0. We're in the third quarter with just over 10 minutes left to play. Mike Sherrard split out wide to the right. Tony Hill to the left. 2nd and 4s. Cosby comes in motion. Walker trying to get to the outside. Will get only a yard or 2. Steve Foley cut him down after a gain of 1.
You know, that's one thing that the Cowboys really haven't been able to establish Herschel Walker today. We just see there 11 times, 34 yards. Now, whether the Cowboys haven't used him enough or aren't using him right, I don't know that that's not academic. I think it's just that the Broncos have been playing him very well. They haven't given him anything. They've kind of suffocated Herschel Walker today.
They have done just exactly what they said they wanted to do. 3rd and 2. Ball's at the 27. Walker's in motion this time. Malura goes back to throw, kicks it out to Walker. Looks like it's enough for a first down. It's very close. Randy Robbins was out there with him.
I think that was the thing that impressed the Cowboys so much when they got Herschel Walker, is what a good receiver he was. And they figure they can put him anywhere and run him on pass patterns, and he can catch the ball as well as any receiver they got in the team.
And he knows how to get open. They were also surprised to know that he can block and will block.
But the thing that always, you know, talking about surprise this and surprise that, is how big the guy is and how fast he takes that load with him. I mean, you know, to run fast is one thing, but to be that big and that fast.
But again, the Broncos have done an excellent job defending against him today. Cosby, the move man again. Malura back to throw. That's Mike Sherrard, and they finally do get him down. Ricky Hundley does the job finally, number 98. Not a first down, about a yard shy.
I think this is one of the guys that once he learns this Cowboy offense, I'm talking about Mike Sherrard here, he's going to be a big part of it. He's going to be that speed on the outside that they're looking for. He's going to be that big play receiver. He held out for most of training camp, so he really doesn't know the offense the way they want him to. But when he gets it, he's going to be a big part of this Cowboy offense.
To correct what I said, it is a first down. That last lunge got it. There to Denver 14. They give us to Newsom, and Newsom hammers down inside the 10. Ricky Hundley finally made the stop, but a gain of 7. There is Victor Scott, and the word is he has a fractured wrist. That was a play that was just unfortunate because both he and Fellows had a chance, a shot at an interception, and they collided with each other.
I'll tell you, that's one good thing about the stadium. So the fact that they do have these x-rays there, and they can have an injury like this, take them right in, get it x-rayed, and they know what it is so he doesn't stay in there and continue playing with it.
Malura to Banks, pushed out of bounds inside the 5. Randy Robbins. Close to a first down. 5, and it is a first down. They might conceivably measure, but it looks like he has it.
You know, one thing, excuse me.
I was just going to say they were here once before. Here's Brian Baldinger coming in as, I'm sure, an extra tight end.
You know, and talking about tight ends, Doug Cosby right here hasn't caught a ball yet today. And this is where they've always liked to use their tight end, is down in this area. Of course, they'd like to use them in other areas too, but they haven't been doing it today.
First and goal from the 3 with 7.5 minutes left to play third quarter. They go with 3 tight ends. One of them's in motion. Now he comes back. Now they give to Walker. And Walker gets in. From 3 yards out, Herschel Walker scored.
Watch Doug Cosby here. He's going to come in motion. Then he's going to stop. Then he's going to come back and try and find a place to lead Walker through. By the time he finds a place, Walker's there. He just throws his body sideways. That was just enough movement to get Walker into the end zone. That's not bad. I don't know what you call that technique.
I don't either.
You know, that's kind of the old, remember in high school, the old side body block or something?
Get in the way, it looked like.
6'6" frame across the hole.
Fuller is holding. Septien's extra point is good. Cowboys, after a struggle, get on the scoreboard. And it's Denver 22, Dallas 7 with 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Mistress of the Dark. I mean, here I am stocking up for Halloween. I got my steaks, got my ribs. Then when I ask the stock boy where the Coors Light is stacked, he points me to the Coors and Coors Light Halloween display, and I'm on it. Whoa, it's like deja vu. Whoa, it's like deja vu. Look for it where you buy beer. I shop here because they slash prices. There goes another one. Happy Halloween, darling. Watch.
Dallas's Herschel Walker. It all starts with the NFL today, next Sunday on CBS Sports.
22-7 with 7.5 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Raphael Septien set to kick off. In the direction of Ken Bell and Gene Lang. Lang is 33, Bell is 35. Here's Bill Bates, who is the Cowboys' strong safety, but also excels on special teams. Next to him is the free safety, Michael Downs. Septien's kick will be handled by Lang at the 3. And Bates makes the tackle on the kickoff, and a penalty flag is immediately thrown. 22-yard return.
You know, Bill Bates has been one of the best special team guys in the league. I mean, some guys, they're not the fastest guys in the world. They just have a feeling of how to get down there, avoid a block, and make a tackle.
Illegal block, number 85, on the return, first down.
Joey Hackett is 85.
You know, and this whole thing coming down here, I've always felt it's about 10% ability and 90% desire. Some guys just have a little more interest to getting there than others. And Bates has always been a guy who has more than anyone.
Because he's playing with a broken finger that's got 4 pins in it. And it's not the most handsome thing you'd ever seen.
Well, the pins are starting to come out, he said.
That's Winder over the right side. That's the protection that he wears over the finger and the pins, and then on top of that is more protection. Gain of 3 by Winder.
I asked Tom Landry last night if that thing, you know, in that protective garment and stuff that he has on there, if that bothers Bates, and he says no. He said Bates hits him so hard he doesn't need his hands.
Said he's just one of those guys. 2nd and 7, Broncos, their own 18. Elway gives to Winder again. Stopped by Dutton, but he's very close to first down yardage. Flags come flying. Winder got 8. I think Bates is involved in this altercation.
I think it started with Clarence Kay, the tight end of the Broncos. You know, usually those guys that stay with their blocks are the guys that start fighting when they get behind.
Might have been Jeff Rohr involved instead of Bates.
Well, you know, guys like that can block a long time and finish off blocks, get a lot of fights started. Watch him right there, number 88. Well, you see, he hits him from behind. He's hitting Rohr from behind. He gave him a double dipper whap in the back. And then Rohr turned. Well, that time they got the guy who started it.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 88, offense. It's still 2nd down.
Not much doubt about it. In fact, no doubt about it.
Unless Rohr did something before that.
That could be. How about this? The Eagles shut out Atlanta. Falcons dropped to 4-1. Washington continues to roll. 14-6 over New Orleans. George Rogers had 100 yards, 110 yards, as a matter of fact. 23-0 shutout by the Bears.
I wonder if these Cowboys can get ready for the Redskins coming down there next week.
They're going to be beat up at 2nd and 12. Elway makes a one-hand grab. Can't find anybody. Finally does. It's out of bounds. Mark Jackson was the intended receiver. The Giants beat St. Louis, improved their record to 4-1. Giant defense had 7 sacks against St. Louis. Lomax taking a tremendous beating this year. Detroit 24-13 over Houston. That's the final, of course. Cincinnati beat Green Bay, although Packers came back.
Esiason didn't have any interceptions this week. Last week he had a long day against the Bears.
Last week he had a tough time against that Bear defense. Raiders beat Kansas City. 3rd and 12. Fellows is back in the game at cornerback. Elway. Incomplete. Elway was looking at big Ed Jones and had to unload a little too soon.
I'm sure that's one thing the Cowboy defensive line worked against this week, is that pass between the line and the quarterback. You know, that shuffle pass type of thing. Because that's the second one the Broncos tried to throw. First time Jeffcoat darn near intercepted it, and that time Ed Too Tall Jones smelled it out.
Jack Wheel back to kick, and Robert Levette standing just in Dallas territory at about their 48. Wheel out of the end zone. 6:03 left, 3rd quarter. Won't turn over. Levette trying to run it down, and can't hit him. He got on it. A ricochet picked up about 8 yards for Dallas, and Levette got on it. It'll be 1st down Cowboys with 5:54 left to play, 3rd quarter. Clouds over Denver. Clouds over the Cowboys at the moment. 22-7 next week on CBS. John and I'll be in Dallas. When the Redskins come to town, the Chicago Bears go to Houston. The rest of that lineup all begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern, and then the Eagles and the Giants, Minnesota, San Francisco. Galore, outside Banks, got a blocker in front. Good play by Steve Wilson. Howard Richards was out in front of him. Now Banks wants some rest. Mike Sherrard comes in.
That's what it looks like from where we are, from what we're looking at to where we are.
In case anybody ever looks at it.
In case anyone ever cares.
2nd down and 6 at the Denver 39. Richards jump. The man in front of him, Andre Townsend.
You notice that these offensive linemen are wearing these jerseys tighter and tighter?
Offense.
Yep.
2nd down.
Well, it's like they're these big guys that are wearing small jerseys. That's so the guys can't hold them. I mean, you can't even tell their numbers or anything.
Well, the numbers look funny.
I know it.
They're so tight.
And then they tape those jerseys to the numbers. And some of them, if you got a little crease going down there, you can't even see the bottom of the number. You just get the top.
That's the kitchen.
Newton.
Right.
Get lost half his number somewhere.
2nd and 11. Valor gets around the corner. Had a man. There was Herschel Walker who couldn't come down with it. Valor did a good job to get it close to him. Tony Lilly on the coverage.
See, look, he's one. You know, where's the other half of his number? What is half of 67? That'd be about 33 and a half.
Yeah. 6'3", 306.
He weighs more than that.
Played in the USFL. Has a brother who plays for Minnesota.
This could be a brother here.
His brother's known as the freezer. He's the kitchen. And of course, there's a guy named the refrigerator. Cosby came up with the ball. He got the bounce. And he had it as another ricochet for good yardage.
That was an interesting formation. They had 3 guys lined up out here in a line. Then they threw to the other side to Cosby. Look at him out here. They have the 2 wide receivers and Herschel Walker behind him. This was over here in the right side. That was a decoy. Then over here in the left side is Cosby. So they want him to look. Everyone look over there, and then they'll throw here. So they throw it to the defensive guy, and Cosby catches it on the bounce. Pretty good play.
First down, Dallas at the Denver 30, and the crowd starting to get a little concerned. Valor. Draw play to Walker, and there's nothing there. A loss of 5 at least. Mecklenburg again.
Well, in the nose tackle, Greg Cragen was in there too. Watch 71. He's going to be right up there in the middle along with Mecklenburg. See both of them there? Cragen hit him first, hit him in the side. Mecklenburg has him over the top. That's penetration. That's getting in the backfield. You know that Greg Cragen, he's from the same town I am, Pleasanton. Played high school against my son.
And had a good day.
Sacked him 5 times. Boy, if you're a father, you remember those things.
Second and 15, and here they come again. Valor has some time. There's a penalty marker down. Here's Walker. Still on his feet. He would have enough for a Dallas first down. But it's going to be holding.
Hey, that was a play that the Cowboys needed. It's not going to count.
Number 61, offense, hands to the face, second down.
Hey, you know, we talked about Herschel Walker and how fast he is, but how about how strong he is? They got hold of him trying to grab a jersey, trying the old bulldog stuff. That doesn't do it until you get a little help. Finally, when Tony Lilly got over there, they finally got him down. I mean, those are like 2 pistons. Those legs go boom, 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 boom.
Second and 24. Back at the 44 now. Now watch that front line of Denver, and let's see who does what. Valor going deep. Sherrard could not come down with it. Steve Wilson back there, number 45. That'll bring up a 3rd and 24.
Here's a guy who wants to do well today, Steve Wilson. Remember, he played for the Cowboys. He was a wide receiver, then they moved him to defensive back. Then he came here to the Broncos, and he's a defensive back. That looks like a jump ball. Just throw it up and see who wins the jump ball contest. Wilson won that one.
3rd down. They're back at the 44, out of field goal range. Hill comes out wide to the right. Sherrard and Cosby go left. Tough time for an offensive lineman. Valor up into the pocket. And Hill had it. It was a good throw. Valor's right.
Tony Hill has to catch that ball. That's a good throw by Valor. He had pressure in his face. That just goes right through his hands. He has to catch those. Well, I'll tell you, Valor on his part did everything he had to.
Didn't he?
Because he was getting some pressure. Watch from his right side, right there. And he had to throw that ball under that pressure, and that was a darn good throw.
Saxon back to punt for Dallas. Wilhite standing at the 10. Tell him what's going to happen to that bounce. He landed in the end zone. 44-yard punt, no return, but they'll bring it back to the 20.
That ball took off, didn't it?
Didn't it? 2 minutes, 16 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Mecklenburg looks like something, like his helmet may have popped down on the top of his nose there.
That's what happened. You know, that's what it is. I'm sure that he got hit on the top, and the top of the helmet just comes down right there and gets that nose right above the bridge there.
I got one of those.
I think everyone has one of those. I have a couple of those in there. And then you get older, then you grow a crease right over it like this. That goes down like this.
Then you give up the idea of modeling.
Especially nose modeling.
Elway gives straight ahead to Will Height. He got about 4. There's Mecklenburg, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, see, and he's saying he can't be a nose model. He'll be other things, but he probably won't model noses when he gets done. He got a little something on that lip, too.
That may have just dripped down there.
Well, that's good, or you can rub it down there. No, I don't think Elway's completed a pass this second half, has he?
That's right, he has not. Second down. About 6, it looks like. Will Height straight ahead, hit by Bates and Martin Tuine.
I'll tell you, that's one thing I don't think you want to do is pull in the horns. I think that you get something like this and you just keep it going, and you keep your mixture going. I never thought you wanted to start running out the clock too soon.
Well, you see it happen not just in football, in just about every sport. When you start trying to sit on a lead, the other folks start picking up in the middle aspect, and all of a sudden they're back in it. Elway. He got the first down with that last-minute struggle in the arms of John Dutton.
That Elway's a competitor.
Strong.
He ran that like a fullback.
Strong.
I think he made a bad cut. He likes that. Watch him. He's going to start up the middle. I think he could have stayed out there to his right. Look at the hole he had. But he wanted to make the cut back, lower his shoulder, drive those legs, drive. Get the first down. Who would think that guy's a quarterback?
Looks like he's been working on the machine.
Yeah, he's like John Riggins or someone.
Got to get him another number.
Well, yeah, he'll want to, next week he'll want to start hitting the sled. Build up those legs, get a little leg drive going.
First and 10, Denver. Seconds running out in quarter number 3. Here they come with Will Height, and he is caught from behind by Ed Jones and John Dutton.
Everyone runs that play. That's the old Redskin play. They call it the counter trey. And I think that they've seen it so much that they just run it right down. Watch Too Tall Jones. When he sees that guard and tackle pull, he gets right in there behind him, right down the line of scrimmage.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Denver 22, Dallas 7. And we now pause for a word from your local station. Second and 11. Elway from the spread. Can't find anybody. Now it's chased. Might find somebody someday. Brett Sampson is finally the target. And finally gets open, and Elway finally hits him. Jeffcoat had about 3 shots at Elway and was knocked down about 3 times.
I know that Billy Bryan, the center, knocked him down for that 3rd time when he was ready to get all over Elway. They wanted to run this defensive line around. They're doing it. Watch him. He starts here. He can't find anything. No one's open yet. And then then Jeffcoat's dead. Jeffcoat gets up. Jeffcoat goes down. Bryan knocks him down again. Picks him off. Elway's still looking. Now, I'll tell you what happens on that, Pat. Those receivers, while Elway's doing, they have to keep working too.
Eventually, he'll find you. Back to Winder. Chased by Downs and knocked out of bounds by Ed Jones.
Here's Too Tall. He made a play and a run before that. Here he is playing off the block, coming down the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you, he's used to guys running sweeps at him. He's tough to do 2 things to. 1, get around on a sweep, and 2, throw over. But I'll tell you, he's getting tired. Yeah. That's a long day, and those guys have no subs either. There's nothing they can do about it.
I know it. Randy White is down out with a hamstring. Kuine is playing now at defensive tackle in his place. Elway hits his tight end Kay. Bates hits him, and Lockhart hits him, but he still got the first down. A gain of 11.
You know, Kay right now is not a top receiver as a tight end. They say he's a great blocker, and he's developing. He's getting better because when he was in college, he never caught the ball. You know, he was just a blocker. So he's been a blocker here most of the time. As Dan Reeves says, he's coming as a receiver.
He's lined up to the left now with Mobley also in there, the backup tight end. On the stop, and a flag is down at the bottom of that pile. 13 minutes plus left to play. Holding against Denver.
You know, of course, Clarence Kay, watch him the end here. He played at Georgia blocking for Herschel Walker, but watch him fire out. I mean, he's fire out square. He takes his man right out of the picture.
Offense. First down.
I mean, there's a penalty on that play, but, you know, I was talking about Clarence Kay. He just drove his guy with the initial hit and just put him like 5 yards back. I kind of like that. He got the gloves going, not much pads, just got the gloves on. Big shoulder pads, little loose jersey.
Weighs 238.
Yeah. You know, there's some young tight ends coming around in this league.
That's right.
Kay here, Bavaro, and with the Giants, we've seen some good young ones.
Sampson was the intended receiver. Walls had a crack at an interception and couldn't find the handle.
You know, one of the best offensive linemen of the Broncos is number 76 right here, Ken Lanier. He's a right tackle. Watch him in his pass protection against Too Tall Jones. He started to the inside, pushed him off, then Dutton was coming on a stunt. That's good pickup. You take the first guy, boom, pop him to the inside, wait for the guy coming around, boom. Pick him up.
Elway out of the spread on 2nd and 20 from midfield. No flag. Going for the bunch again. And caught by Clint Sampson in front of Bill Bates. A pickup of about 16.
You know, the amazing thing about this is we see Sampson work there. That was against a zone. That's a deep man and a short man, and he hit Sampson between the two. But I tell you, Elway threw that from the right hash mark. So you look at, you know, it's about 17 yards down the field, but all the way across the field, too.
That brings up a 3rd and 4. Clock still running. Retreats. Steve Watson with the good hand.
Dan Reeves said, every time I see Steve Watson make a great catch, I think he'll never do it again. But he said every week he does it, and here's one of them. Look, both hands getting up in the air, just taking that thing right out of the air. Of course, we can talk about that, but this is what makes it all possible. That's the protection. 4-man rush, boom, solid in there, have the back end to help, keep him right there, forming the perfect pocket so that Elway can, 1, see his guy, and 2, step and follow through.
And he can get it there. First down, Broncos at the Dallas 17. It's Winder on the move. That's Wilhite straight ahead. Wilhite hit backwards by Bates. A gain of 2.
Well, I'll tell you, if there's ever a skirmish after a play, Bates is usually right in the middle of it. See him that time he was going against Dave Studdard, the tackle. Boy, Jeff Kemp's having a big day for the 49ers, huh?
Their last 3 touchdowns have been thrown by Kemp, all 3 to Jerry Rice. Don't forget about them, by the way. They're a good team. Second and 8 at the 15. Wilhite to about the 12. John Dutton tripped him up. That'll bring up a 3rd and 5.
I wonder if this is where the Broncos, in fact, John Elway's coming over here to talk to Dan Reeves. Just talk to him. As Wilhite's coming out. I wonder if this is where they might try a trick play, like a run pass. Wilhite is one of the guys who would throw that run pass.
The other Sampson, and he's in the game.
Sewell is always a possibility for a trick.
12 plays. The Broncos have had the ball almost 7 minutes. That's Sewell in motion. Elway gets it outside. Touchdown, Gene Lang. Denver 28, Dallas 7. Elway's 3rd touchdown pass, that to Gene Lang. Well, this extra point is good.
But if you have protection like that, and throws like that, you don't need any tricks. Just go back and throw it.
29-7 with 10:03 left to play in the game.
Me out with a roll of the dice. But when it comes to real investing with real money, consider Smith Barney, where wiser heads than mine scrutinize every possibility, because good investments don't happen by chance. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
This is the way the Broncos wanted to get it done. Things don't always work out like that, but today at least, everything we could learn, their preparation, this is how they had prepared. Pretty impressive right there. 7 minutes and 13 seconds they kept the ball. Harless to kick off. Levette and Quack. Back deep for Dallas. Levette at the 1. To maybe the 21.
Yeah, we talked about this Bronco defense, and of course we talked about Herschel Walker being such a big part of this Cowboy offense. He's had 13 carries for 34 yards. And of course they would like to have Tony Dorsett back, and they think that they might have him next week.
Danny White, of course, also missed today. Now Randy White pulled a hamstring, and he's out today. Rulon Jones saying that somebody pulled him offside.
Full start, number 61.
Somebody did.
First down.
Jim Cooper.
Old Cooper's having a tough time today. In that last drive, it was, you know, he got that 10-yard penalty for hitting in the face, jumped off sides on that play. Tom Landry got that earpiece going in there. You know, that's really not a headset. See, if you have a headset, you couldn't wear it with a hat. That thing just sticks in his ear.
There's Walker. Battling straight ahead. Not much doing. Greg Cragen. Walker got 4.
Walker has like 14 carries for 38 yards. And that's not a typical Herschel Walker day.
It's going to hurt his averages. He was averaging 6.1 per carry.
Looks like there's some confusion in the Cowboy huddle.
Second and 11.
just saw Victor Scott going off the field there. They've already x-rayed that. He has a fractured wrist. So they're taking him now in the Cowboy locker room. Earlier, they took him in the Bronco locker room for the x-rays.
Here's Pallure on 2nd and 11. Now the penalty marker goes down again. And from the reaction of the Bronco players, it's going to be against Dallas.
False start.
And again, a false start.
63, offense, third down.
You know, they were going to have the center, Tom Rafferty, call the cadence because they were worried about this. One play, Cooper jumped off sides where the lineman couldn't hear it. That time the left guard, Glenn Titensor, did. We're going to look at this one to see. We'll see this one. See the left guard there moved on the last play. We'll have to see if Rafferty is in fact calling the signals.
Forward handoff to Walker, and it pulls nobody. Going in the other direction rapidly. Andre Townsend that time, a loss of 4.
And Randy Robbins was in there. You know, their safeties, their defensive backs of these Broncos have been in the backfield of the Cowboys as much as the Cowboy backs. That Robbins is having a big day. You know, a lot of times you don't count him to block him. But he gets up there in that line of scrimmage and comes across and he's in their backfield.
Third down. Pallure sacked at the 1. Rulon Jones.
Playing over the guard, starts to work outside on a stunt, then has Richards pick him up, then he takes back on the inside against Richards and comes up with a sack, almost for another safety.
Tough day for Pallure. Saxon.
This is going to be a tough place to punt because he doesn't get his normal 15-yard drop.
And if he steps out of the end zone, it's another safety. Mark Jackson back deep. Good kick by Saxon. Close to 80 yards, he left it on the ground. I don't know who got it. It looked as if the Cowboys might have. They come up with it. Todd Fowler is down there. 58-yard punt by Saxon out of the end zone. That's a heck of an effort right there.
And then to come up with the ball. The Cowboys special teams were hustling down there. I don't know what it looked like. He tripped, his feet tripped, and as his feet tripped, the ball just went out of his hands.
That's the first Denver turnover of the day. Cowboys have it at the Denver 46-yard line. Pallure back to throw. If he has time. To Tony Hill, and I think he caught it. Yes, it's a catch.
That may be an instant replay one. We'll have to look at that one again. I tell you, Tony Hill was down, just reached out his right arm. Look at him here, he's running to the inside on a hook. Now he's looking to the outside. He goes down and catches that ball. I don't know if that was a one-hopper or not. Let's see if that ball hit the ground. No, it didn't hit the ground. It hit his hands and bounced up.
He caught it.
That was a legal catch. The umpire is talking now. They're talking.
Consulting.
They're consulting. I'm sure he's telling them if he looked at that last replay, he would see that it didn't hit the ground. Yeah. They're looking at it, calling down. They're probably looking at it again. This is what they're looking at. You can see it's going to hit his hands. See, his hands are down there underneath the ball. Then it goes up to his chest, and then he had control of that ball. That's a legal catch.
They're still consulting.
This is something. I like instant replay. I think it's going to take some time to get the bugs worked out. But it adds another dimension. I think it's another thing for the fans. I think it's a way that something terrible doesn't happen in a game and you get away with it.
Jerry Mark Bright still listening, and they're still talking.
I don't know that it takes that much talk. There they are right there. The official is Tony Viteri. He's an ex-NFL official. And Joe Ryan, he's a communicator. He's from the league office.
And they're going to bring it back.
The pass is really incomplete. Second down on the 46-yard line.
I'll tell you, they saw something we didn't see. I think they missed that one. This may be the angle that they look, but his hands are between the ground and the football. And unless the ball's on the ground there before he turns over, that's the only thing I can see they see. But right there, he has his hands between the ground and the ball. Unless they had a rule that the ball was on the ground underneath his stomach, that's the only thing I can see.
They bring it back in any case. It's second down at 10. Valor's back to throw, and the Broncos are blitzing. Valor gets away from one. Gets away from two. Now that's a catch. Review it all you want to. He caught it.
Are you talking to those guys from the booth?
Well, they overruled us.
Take that one. You want to see a catch? I'll show you a catch. Watch this. You go down, you feel your quarterback scramble, so you start across the field. So he was way over on the right side, then he starts to work over in the left, and he catches the ball. Legal catch.
First down. Dallas has it at the Denver 22. The Broncos lead at 29-7. Just over 6 minutes left to play. Valor back. Mecklenburg hurdles somebody. That's Newsom. Newsom down to about the 12. Rick Dennison. Watch Mecklenburg.
Did you see that what he did? I don't know that I've ever seen a guy this big. I mean, we're talking about a 250-pound guy. Watch him on the rush. Walker starts to block him. He just hurdles right over Herschel Walker. Then Titans finally picks him up. I don't think I've ever seen a guy that big do something like that.
Second and 1. Newsom got 9 on the pass from Kulur. Kulur back to throw again. Takes outside to Walker. Walker out of bounds. For an NFL update, let's go back to Brent Busberger again in New York.
Well, Pat and John, we've had everything today, so why not an overtime? With 5 seconds left, Uguay Buike of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers nails down this field goal. The Rams have won the flip. They'll receive in overtime in Anaheim. Back to Pat and John.
All right, Brent, we're back at Mile High Stadium with the Broncos in control of things with 5:22 left to play, and Dallas on the move now inside the 10, first and goal. Intended or in the direction of Walker. Randy Robbins on the coverage again.
That Randy Robbins has been all over the field. There's a flag on the play, too. In fact, I think there could be 2 flags on the play, but that if you gave a game ball or an MVP, he could get it today.
Number 45, defense, automatic first down.
Steve Wilson. Automatic first down, Dallas at about the 4-yard line. It'll be first and goal.
First, that was away from the ball. Steve Wilson is a cornerback. Was thrown to Herschel Walker. Steve Wilson is out there on Tony Hill. You see him now. He was hit. The first hit was legal. I don't know where the hold was.
First and goal, Dallas. Valor in a hurry out to Newsom. Newsom, touchdown. Those who might have just joined the game, the second quarter was the big quarter for the Broncos. They lead right now 29-13 with Rafael Septien about set to try the extra point. 60 minutes will be coming up next, except on the West Coast. Have guns will travel, the retired American general who will fight your war for you as long as you're fighting communists. Tonight on 60 Minutes. Septien with Pallur holding. And it's good. So with 5:12 still left to play, it's Denver 29, Dallas 14.
Today's real estate.
29-14 with 5:12 left to play. 29-14, Denver leading Dallas. And we're in the fourth quarter. Coming up next, of course, 60 minutes, except on the West Coast. As soon as it's over.
This could be an onside kick here, Pat.
I think there's too much doubt about it.
Well, they need 3 scores, the Cowboys do.
Denver's expecting. Dallas got it. Dallas ball. It hit somebody in the head, and Johnny Holloway came down with it.
I'll tell you, that's a pretty good play. They had a shift and everything. Now, when you're going down there, the front guys don't try and go for it. They try and block against them. You see the good block there? They're trying to block the Broncos out, and then you bring in your second wave to come up with the ball.
Todd Fowler is the guy who caved in the Bronco rush, and Holloway came up with it.
Fowler caved in about 3 of them, I think.
So it's first down Cowboys at the Denver 49. Who would have thought?
I'll tell you, Steve Pallur has done a pretty good job today.
With the pressure that's been on him, he's done a heck of a job. Back again is Pallur. Gets it out to Newsom. Newsom steps away from one Bronco, puts his head down and gets down to about their 35. Mike Harden finally brought it down. Good move by Newsom, a pickup of 14. In the event you might have missed some of the other scores. Washington rolling right along. The Giants continue. Cleveland wins for the first time at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Detroit over Houston. Here, the Cowboys on the move against Denver, but trailing 29-14. Pallur back to throw. To Sherrod. He's down in the arms of Randy Robbins, but it's another Dallas first down. Clock running. Dallas has all of their timeouts remaining, by the way. A gain of 13. 49ers 35-14 over Indianapolis. They're in overtime. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Los Angeles.
I think the Cowboys here ought to start throwing it in the end zone now because, like we say, they need 3 scores.
Pallur to Cosby. To the 11. And another first down. Now they better really put it in the end zone.
Well, they have to do that because they need a score here, and then they have to come back with another onside, another score, then another onside.
That's a little hard to be optimistic about that situation. Danny White hopes to be able to play next week. First down, Cowboys. They're at the 12. Here they come. Batted away by Denver. The blitz was on the way. Rulon Jones got a big hand up and knocked it down. .12 left to play at Mile High Stadium with the Cowboys at the Denver 12 trading 29-14. Pallur on today's job is 22 out of 37. At this point, that's Walker in motion. Here comes the Denver blitz. Pallur gets away from it, gets it to Tony Hill. He stayed inbounds and gets to about the 8.
Hey, Pallur has given a little of that Elway stuff, a little of the run, Here he starts. This is an organized rollout. See, he took his first couple steps back, and boom, out here to the left, found Tony Hill. That's the third pass that Tony Hill caught in a row on his knees.
Or sliding or diving.
He has to catch one where he has his feet under him, where he can run in.
3rd and 5. Hill is split wide to the left. Sherrard over to the right. Behind Newsom, I think it was deflected by Mecklenburg. And he knocked it behind Newsom.
I think with 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I think if you're going to throw the ball here, you have to throw it in the end zone. Because when you complete one, you want a touchdown. That's Danny White. See, he's signaling in. Paul Hackett talks to Tom Landry. Tom Landry gives a play to Danny White. Danny White signals it in to Steve Pallure, who calls it in the 100.
That brings up a 4th and 5 situation with 2.5 minutes left to play. Sherrard and Hill both are split wide to the right. Intercepted in the end zone by Louis Wright. That should be enough for the Broncos. 2:23 left. And they lead 29-14.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. Be all aggressive, strong safeties is number 49, Dennis Smith of the Denver Broncos. When it comes to defense, Smith exerts all-out effort. He will leap, dive, sacrifice his body, do anything necessary to stop an offense. By being totally unselfish when it comes to tracking down the opposition, Dennis Smith is the best he can be.
Next Sunday. Now you will see our pregame show at either 12:30 Eastern or 3:30 Eastern, and then take a look at our lineup of games. This is probably the best menu we've had all season long. The Washington Redskins, unbeaten, will go down into Dallas to take on the Cowboys. The Philadelphia Eagles, Buddy Ryan bringing that defense along. They'll be taking on the New York Giants. The Chicago Bears go down into Houston. The Bears are still unbeaten. And now the Rams, after having won that dramatic overtime game, go into Atlanta. The Falcons were only once beaten. The rest of the lineup: Minnesota against San Francisco, Detroit, Green Bay, St. Louis against Tampa Bay, and New Orleans against Indianapolis. Now let's send you back for the conclusion of the game in Denver. Here's Pat Summerall and John Madden.
And the situation here, Brent, is 2:23 left to play. Denver with the ball at their own 20-yard line, leading 29-14. John Elway put on a clinic in the second quarter. And it's been a tough day score-wise and injury-wise. And yardage-wise for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys, when they get some of these guys well and get them back, they're going to be a much better team as the season progresses. I really believe that.
That's Winder. Mike Hagman stopped him, and let's take you back again to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Pat and John, I want everybody to see this dramatic run by Eric Dickerson that won the game in overtime. It's 42 yards for the touchdown. On the day, Dickerson, 30 carries, 207 yards, and the Rams win it 26-20. Let's go back to Pat and John.
And those of you who saw that contest, this is Mile High Stadium in Denver. The Broncos leading Dallas 29-14. And that's the situation with 2:16 left to play. Dallas has 2 timeouts remaining. Denver has all 3 of theirs.
See that Dickerson on that play? He really took off, didn't he? You know, they say he runs the ball too much. I'll tell you, I think if I had him, I'd give it to him all the time, too.
He gained over 200 yards. I think that's pretty good justification for running him, don't you?
And then winning the game for him. You know, we just saw the story there of the miscues that I think, you know, the 2 things that happened to Dallas. One is they have all those injuries. Their quarterback's out. He went down Thursday. They lose Randy White early, and they have those penalties and turnovers. And then you put the other side over there, John Elway and a defense doing what they're doing. It's going to be a long day.
2nd down and 5 at the 25. Sewell in motion. Sammy Winder gets the first down outside the 30. Michael Downs and Everson Walls on the stop. Pick up a 5.
You know, Tom Landry says he enjoys playing his ex-coaches. He said, but I don't want to lose to him.
And of course, Dan Reeves is going to do that to him today. 2 minutes left.
Pickup. It's got the muscle of a fuel injector 350 V8. And it's available on every full-size Chevy. It's got the strength of girder beam front suspension. Where? There. Plus, double wall construction. So, when you need a tough working partner.
Nothing works like a Chevy truck.
Nothing.
Yeah?
Yeah. Right?
Denver 29, Dallas 14. Tonight on CBS. Have guns will travel. Retired American general who will fight your war for you as long as you are fighting communists. That's on 60 Minutes. And following that, it is Murder, She Wrote. Part 2 of a 2-part episode, followed by a new CBS miniseries, The Last Frontier, starring Linda Evans and Jason Robards Jr. Winder over the left side. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. John Dutton was there.
Now we're starting to look like football here, aren't we? And that's Steve Wilson, a cornerback. And when you get a little dirt like that on the back and a little blood and stuff in the front, and you're playing cornerback, that's been a pretty wild game out there today.
Can be a difficult position.
Well, you know, especially the safeties have been up there more than the corners. Nose tackles have fan clubs. That's Greg Cragen.
Right.
He's a nose tackle. He has his own little group.
So Dallas timeout. They have one left. Let's take a look at some of the injuries today. Dennis Smith, pulled the groin, is out. Kay injured his ribs and has been playing since that. That was in the first half. He returned to play. Randy White pulled a hamstring. He's been gone since then. Victor Scott fractured his wrist. He's out. And we add now Bill Bates to that list with a sprained ankle in addition to the 4 pins in his finger.
Right, and then you look at that sideline and you see Danny White, who's been there all day, hasn't played. You see Tony Dorsett suited up, but in a dress suit. And that's another one of the problems for the Cowboys.
Yes, sir. Second down and 10 at the 30. Will Height, straight ahead, stopped by Mark Tuine. Reggie Collier, the third Dallas quarterback, over talking to Steve Pelluer, or close to him. They were talking.
Well, you know, and Collier is the third quarterback, but when they had so many injuries at wide receiver, they moved him to a wide receiver. So in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Collier had been working as a wide receiver, not a quarterback.
Again, let's go back for an NFL update to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Pat and John, the San Francisco 49ers go to 4-1, and what a day quarterback Jeff Kemp had, and Jerry Rice. Rice caught 6 passes for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Niners are now tied with the Rams in Atlanta. All are at 4-1. Back to Denver. Here's Pat Summerall and John Madden.
The NFC West shaping up quite well.
You know, in today's football, you need that thing. We talked about it last week in the Bears with Willie Gault. You need speed. And the 49ers have it in Jerry Rice. And you know, that's what Bill Walsh said. He said, we're going to develop that. He said, we need that in our football, and our guy's going to be Rice.
3rd and 10. A minute 46 left to play. To Winder. Michael Downs up with help from Eugene Lockhart to bring him down. Now the clock will run.
But you know, I think of the teams that we've seen this year, Denver's one of the best. I think the Bears are the other one of the best. And to me, those are the 2 best teams right now, the way they're playing right now in the NFL. If I had to pick them, I would say Denver and the Bears.
John Elway's had a good day. Denver defense has had a good day. So has Gerald Wilhite. Don't leave him out. Scored 3 touchdowns.
You know, and they've played a solid game. I mean, you think of the offense and how they move the ball running and passing. defense, how they've stopped it. Think of the special teams, how they've played. I'll tell you, I don't think that guy has a right arm there. I think there's a gun in there.
He could hurt somebody throwing the ball.
Yeah, but he looks so innocent. You know, the baby face type thing, and you pack a weapon like that on you?
Well, you asked Dan Reeves about him, about what kind of arm he's got, and he just shakes his head.
He doesn't want to warm him up. You know, sometimes coaches will warm up quarterbacks, but you don't warm up guys like Elway. Let him throw it into a wall or something.
Wheel back to punt. And Levette back for Dallas. 1:02 left to play. Dallas out of timeouts now. All out rush, he gets it away. Levette trying to run it out of bounds. It does run it out of bounds. At about the 41. Again, the early games next week. Of course, it all begins with the NFL today. Washington goes to Dallas, where we'll be. Chicago, Houston, Rams against Atlanta, Detroit, Green Bay, St. Louis, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans, Indianapolis. Those are the early games. Philadelphia against the Giants, or Minnesota, San Francisco late. Handsome lineup. 1st and 10, Dallas.
See those people standing over there behind that bench, behind the boy that we used to get abuse over there. Woo! What talk went on behind that bench?
Valor out of the spread. Gets the screen pass out to Herschel Walker. Herschel down the sideline and out of bounds. It's a Dallas first down. 45 seconds now. Woodard knocked him out of bounds.
Over the years, they've changed, though. Now they look young and innocent. Boy, in those days, they didn't look like that.
Looks like they built a higher fence.
Yeah.
Best records over the last 3 years, the Bears 30-7, the Broncos right behind, and the 49ers after that. Those are all updated as of today.
I think sometimes it gets lost, but one of the guys that over those years has been doing a great coaching job is Dan Reeves.
Elway by Andre Townsend again. That's 5 sacks. Clock will run. Now they've stopped it while they regroup. Now they start it again. Valor gets him back in a hurry.
Valor just looks like Elway.
Spins out of it. Almost picked off by Louis Wright again. Valor has had no time.
Well, they've been all over him. You know, they probably, we talked about their formations. The Broncos will use as many as 30 offensive formations. But they use as many defenses, as many different defenses. Dan Reeves was saying, he said to Joe Collier, how do you get all those things in? And he said, as long as there's colleges, I'll get them in and have names for them. He just names defense by the colleges the guys went to. Like they have the Gopher and the Bulldog and the Trojan and all that.
3rd and 21. Valor has some time this time. Incomplete. Pass intended for Mike Sherrard. And the clock stops with 20 seconds to go.
I'll tell you, yeah, he's still getting hit after he throws. Even at the end of the game when they're put in their subs. I'll tell you, Valor is going to be sore tomorrow. It's good he's young.
He's going to be sore tonight. He's got a little blood on his side.
Yeah, he has a little. Probably someone else's that rubbed off as they were grabbing at him.
29-14. 3 wide receivers stacked up on the left. Valor has to scramble. Nobody there. Picked off by Mike Harden. Game's going to be over by the time he gets through running, and he goes out of bounds. Herschel Walker pushed him out of bounds, and there are 3 seconds remaining. And a flag down.
64 Dallas, declined, first down.
60 minutes coming up, except on the West Coast. Long afternoon at Mile High, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. But not if you follow the Broncos. And They have some of the most devoted fans in the entire game.
I'll tell you, they do. I remember when we used to come in here and they had bad teams, they still had a full house. I mean, even, you know, they would let the team know, they would boo, but I'll tell you, they always had a full house here in Denver.
They got a tough order coming up. And so does Dallas.
These guys have a tough order. You know, it looked like a couple weeks ago that Philadelphia could be easy.
For John Madden, and this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Mile High Stadium in Denver, where the final score was Denver 29, Dallas 14. Coming up next on the NFL Today, the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
It has something to...
First, a quick scoring update on our way to 6. In general will fight your war for you as long as you are fighting communists. Now in the NFL, all games are final. The Denver Broncos, one of the 3 unbeaten teams. They beat Dallas 29-14. San Francisco now 4-1, 35-14 over Indianapolis. The Jets go to 4-1 in dramatic fashion. Inside of a minute to go, Ken O'Brien looking to the right, looking to the right. There are 12 Bills on the field. It doesn't matter. Mickey Schuler is open, and it's the winner as they come back 14-13 in that game. The Rams in overtime, 26-20 over Tampa Bay. Chicago now 5-0 on the season. Cincinnati 3-2 with the win, and the Packers are 0-5. Detroit 2-3 with the win over Houston today. Cleveland now 3-2. They come from behind twice. The Giants, their record 4-1, and Washington goes to 5-0 and heads to Dallas next week. The Raiders are 2-3. They come from behind to beat the Chiefs. New England all over Miami. The Dolphins are 1-4. Philadelphia shuts out Atlanta for new head coach Buddy Ryan, and next Saturday on CBS College Football, you will see either Michigan State against Michigan or Arizona taking on UCLA. Coming up next here on CBS 60 Minutes, except on the West Coast. I'm Brent Musburger. Good night, everybody.
Nobody has lower fares than United to more cities across this land. North to south, east to west, only United has low fares to all 50 states.
You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
When you look for champions,
Well, it really was. It was really something special, Ron. It's something I think you think about when you come into this league as a head coach, is that you'd like to be successful. And you look at some of the records that some of the coaches that you really admire and that you've looked up to, some of the things that they've accomplished, and you'd like to think that, you know, you could do some of the same things that they've done. And, you know, I've been very fortunate. I came to an organization that knew how to win, and so I didn't have to start out at the bottom. And I inherited a great group of coaches and a great group of players, and we've been able to win almost every year except the second one, which was a miserable year, the strike season. But we've been fortunate. We just haven't accomplished what we would like to, which is to win some playoff games and make it into the Super Bowl and hopefully win that one.
Now you're 5-0. You got the best team in the AFC, at least at this point, unquestionably. You got the best record. I hear people around town so excited, and you do too. And they're talking Pasadena and Super Bowl. Do you have to warn your team not to get overly excited, not to look ahead, and, as you always say, take them one at a time?
Well, I don't think I have to warn our team. You know, I think maybe the city fans in our city need to calm down a little bit, because we do have an awful long ways to go. But our players have done a super job, I think, of keeping things in perspective, preparing themselves week in and week out, and playing regardless of who we're playing, of being prepared and ready to play, and to getting after them, being very physical and very tough. And so I don't think I have to warn them, but I think we need to calm down a little bit of talk about the Super Bowl when you only played 5 weeks.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll take a look at all the highlights of Dan's 50th when we come back.
$1 billion.
A lot of us watched you before the game with a lot of old friends. What was it like for you to reacquaint yourself with so many friends from Dallas?
Well, you know, I had a lot of friends there, and I didn't realize how many of them were still there. You know, you think about the players, and so many of them are gone, that all of a sudden you forget about the equipment man, you forget about the trainer, the assistant trainer, and all the people that were so close to you during that time. It was nice to see everybody, and I knew that I was going to be excited, and I knew our football team was ready to play, and so I was looking forward to the opportunity that we were going to have. And, of course, this is a real key play.
Play of the game, maybe, huh?
Really, I think so. Pelluer goes back to pass. We got a blitz on, and Louis Wright just makes a great play over the top of Mike Renfro, the intended receiver. Gets some great blocks here. Our guys really do a great job of picking up people. He goes to the sideline to pick up some blocks. Gets a block right here from Steve Wilson against their big tackle. And then Louis kind of turns on the speed and picks up some more blocks downfield from Randy Robbins. They're really getting after their quarterback. He breaks another tackle there by Herschel Walker. You can see Rulon coming into the picture. Kenny Woodard, and it just gives us great field position out around midfield. On 3rd and 6 from the 9-yard line, John goes back to pass, throws a perfect strike. You can see Gerald never had to slow down. He had a defender right on his heels. If he'd had to slow down at all, he wouldn't have been able to get it in the end zone. So John made a perfect throw, catches a 9-yard touchdown pass, and we go up 7-0. On the next series, handed off to Herschel Walker around the right side, and Carl Mecklenburg, who continues to play well week in and week out, comes through for a loss of 5 yards on the play. On the next play on 3rd and 15, Pelluer goes back, and Rulon Jones and Carl had a stunt on the other side. Rulon made a great escape inside, gets Pelluer for safety right there to put us up 9-0. And I think also importantly, along with the safeties, you get pretty much assured for great field position. And we do get good field position on the ensuing kickoff. And right here on 3rd down and 7, John moves out, and right on a dead run,
look at that,
throws it about 55 yards. Perfect strike to Mark Jackson. You know, as a quarterback, I used to dream about throwing those things, but I
never could do it, right?
That's right.
Not many can.
Ends off on 2nd goal to 1. 2nd goal to go from the 1 to Gerald Wilhite. Gerald goes up over the top, gets it in the end zone for a 16-0 lead. And, of course, that was a big second quarter that had turned things kind of in our favor. On 2nd 10, John goes back to pass here, and he can't find anybody open. Comes out and he scrambles down the left side for 19 yards. And this is what scares you to death as a defensive coordinator, is to have a guy that can run as well as John can. You cover everybody downfield, and all of a sudden have him come out and run for 19 yards. On 1st and 5 from the 45 after a penalty for them being offside, John hits Clint Sampson on what we call a bench route into the sideline, and excellent route by Clint Sampson. A good throw there by John. He got hit as he went out of bounds, so they were penalized on the play, half the distance to the goal. It got us some good field position. We scored on a quarterback draw, came back and got penalized for holding, and on 3rd down and goal from the 15, John again throws a great strike right there to Gerald, and Gerald makes an excellent catch to put us up at the half, 22-0. We missed the kick, failed. We got it blocked, so it was 22-0. And on the next series, Pelluer goes back. Randy Robbins comes in from a blitz on the right side. He hits Pelluer right here, knocks the ball loose, and it just seemed like nobody saw the ball. Mike Harden came all the way from the secondary to try to recover it, or at least a field goal on the play, but we go in at halftime, 22-0. And, you know, it was a great first half, and I felt awful good about it at halftime, but I also had been in Dallas long enough to know if you don't come out and play the second half that they are a great come-from-behind team. And I thought our team was playing well. If we could just keep that type of intensity in the second half, we'd be okay.
He had so many players do so well. I mean, Wilhite was terrific. Jones and Mecklenburg in another world. But watching that game yesterday, your offensive line gave John Elway the time that he hasn't had in a long time. And I just thought they were like one of the unsung units on the team.
Well, they've played awful well now the entire season, and they do. They fight you for everything that they're worth. They claw, they scrap, they do everything they can to give John plenty of time. And they're doing a good job up front in the running game also. And you can't give, you know, all those guys from Studdard to Bish to Bryan to Howard to Lanier and Cooper and comes in there some along with Remsburg and Hood. So those guys do a great job, and they are guys that are very competitive.
You made a very good point, and you should know, having been with Dallas, they came out in the second half, and they tried hard to make a game of it and almost did.
Well, I take my hat off to Scott Pelluer. We put an awful lot of pressure on him, but he stood in the pocket, moved around some. Here he hits Timmy Newsom going across on a play. It's a well-executed pass, and Timmy goes for 30 yards before he's knocked out of bounds there by Steve Wilson. So it was a very well executed pass, and he did a good job. He hands off to Herschel Walker here off the right side from 1st and goal from the 3. And the big horse breaks a couple of tackles and gets it in the end zone, and all of a sudden they're back in the ball game at 22-7, and that's what we didn't want to do, was give them any hope, but we did. And here on 3rd down and 3 from the 27-yard line, John gets the first down, and then he decides he wants to get more. And
Herschel Walker there.
I was actually hoping he was just going to hit the ground, because when those big tackles get on him and fall like that, you never know what's going to happen. But you can't take the competitive side of John.
Sure.
I mean, he's super.
That's part of what makes him good, isn't it?
Oh, no question about it. And he just felt like Dutton wasn't big enough. He's going to run over him. On 3rd and 4 here from the 33, John goes back to pass, puts a great touch on this pass right here. Threw the ball before Steve ever broke, and then Steve comes up with one of his classic catches to give us a big first down there. Down around the 17-yard line on 3rd down and 5 from the 12. They came after us with a safety blitz. Our line did a great job of picking it up. Hits Gene Lane coming out of the backfield. Gene makes a great move here, cutting behind their safety, who was covering, broke 2 tackles, goes into the end zone for a 29-7 lead. Of course, this is where we felt awful good. Our defense right after this did a great job of trapping them a couple of times, and they had 4th down and 30 from their own 1-yard line in sacks and punts, and we thought this was a good place to put Mark Jackson in the game to give him some experience returning the ball, and Mark catches the ball. It was a very good punt. He catches the ball, he starts to run, he slips a little bit right there, loses the football, and then he can't find it. And they come in, we had a chance right there again to recover the football, and we don't make the recovery there, and Dallas ends up and they're back in the ball game on 1st and goal from the 4. Pallure hits Timmy Newsom out of the backfield, and Timmy catches the ball, turns it up for a touchdown, and now it's the 29-14 game. You know the onside kick is coming. They get the onside kick, very well executed onside kick, and all of a sudden they're back again, down knocking on our goal line. It's 4th down and 5 from the 7-yard line, and Pallure rolls out to his right. We got a safety blitz on Mike Harden, and Darren Como coming from the backside, puts a lot of pressure on him, has to throw across his body. And there's old reliable. Louis Wright makes another great interception to stop him, and the final score, of course, was 29-14.
Wrangler Player of the Week awards, you could have given them to a number of different people.
Well, we really could have, but our offensive player of the game is a guy that is going to make this a habit, John Elway. He throws 3 touchdown passes and just had an excellent game. Our defensive player of the game was Louis Wright, who had the key interception, also had another interception, played well throughout the ball game. Our special teams player of the game is a guy that did a great job of kicking off. They had terrible field position, Rich Carlos, and our overall most valuable players scored 2 points.
Right.
Roland Jones had several traps in the game, had an overall good game, and he's our overall most valuable player. Chan Gailey, our special teams coach, is our coach of the week. And again, thanks so much to Wrangler and Miller Stockman for the awards they give our players each week.
Okay, we'll come back and we'll talk with Sammy Winder, so don't go away. Pro Bowl form. Here's more with Sammy.
It wasn't always easy for Sammy Winder. He grew up with 4 brothers and 6 sisters on a farm in Mississippi.
You know, being farmers, you know, that we were, it was kind of different. We, you know, living out in the country. But I look back on it now and sort of appreciate some of the stuff I went through, though.
Now, why do you appreciate it now as an adult?
Mainly because I don't have to do it.
Well, how did he get from the farm to the football field? Well, he gives an older brother credit.
I had a brother a couple years older than I am, played high school football. And he used to come home and tell me stories of how he was knocking guys out and stuff like that. And I just, you know, and I knew this guy wasn't that tough because, you know, he and I were wrestling in the backyard. So I think he was the one that influenced me to go out for the team. And I went out and I played, 2 years of high school football and on to college.
He was the Broncos' 5th-round draft pick out of Southern Mississippi. he was a steal. He went to the Pro Bowl in '84. Now entering his 5th year, he's already lasted longer than the NFL average for a running back.
I don't know how much longer I can withstand the punishment, but I know this training camp, I had aches and pains that I'd never... Never before playing football. For some reason, my body was telling me, Sammy, I don't know how much longer I can take this.
He's old-fashioned, as evidenced by what he drives to work every day.
I have a 55 Chevrolet pickup, and it is back home. And I have a 56 Ford pickup, which is here, that I drive now. That's my heart. I got away from all the modernized stuff, all the push button and all that, and I just wanted to go back in time, I guess.
His style reflects that feeling. You never see Sammy without a hat. He owns dozens. It's an interest that started long ago.
My mother, church day, she would always wear a hat. Always, and I would go to church with her, and like all her friends, all the elderly ladies would have on their hat, and I was like, golly, that sure is a nice looking hat, And the men would have on their little derbies and stuff, and I think that's what just got me started.
As for his favorite pastime, it's easy.
Sleep.
Is it still that way?
This is my day off, and I can't wait for you guys to leave.
You can't help but like Sammy Winder. His old-fashioned values learned on the farm are obvious, just in the way he treats others, and in the way he wants Denver to remember him.
Just a guy that, when his number was called, he gave it, what he had.
He's terrific. We'll be back for more with Dan in just a minute.
I have a good feeling because I have a good feeling for Dan. I like to see him successful, as I do all my coaches are out in the league right now, and I wish he hadn't been quite as successful today, though.
He's something. I don't really know him. I've only interviewed him 3 or 4 times, but I just like him. What is it about him that endears him to people?
Well, I don't know. I just have a tremendous amount of respect for him, Ron. Throughout the years that I was with him, he was a super person to work for because you knew exactly where he was coming from. He was himself day in and day out, and whether you agreed with the type of person he was a very honest person. He told you exactly what he thought, and I learned an awful lot of things from him. I think he has a tremendous amount of patience with people, and he's real down to earth. His values that he has, his Christian life, is something that I admire a great deal because those things are very important to him. He does a great job of keeping life itself in perspective. Football's not the biggest thing in his life. The Lord is, and then his wife and his family, and then football, I think, probably comes about third.
How tough a week was it for you? I mean, people like me monopolized your times. We asked you a lot about it. Was it more emotional this past week than even I think all of us knew or realized?
Well, as I said, it was sort of like you were under a microscope, and everybody was watching every move you made. But I think had we played Dallas a little bit sooner after I had left Dallas, it would have been a lot tougher. 5 years is a long time. There's a lot of things can be healed, a lot of wounds that could be healed in that period of time. And it wasn't as emotional as I think it would have been had it been earlier, but it was something special. You always, when you learn from somebody like I did, Coach Landry, you'd like to think that, you could go out and compete and win. And I think also when you look at the Cowboys, you look at it as a great organization that's accomplished an awful lot through the period it has been in the league. And, I'd like to think that 20 years from now that people would look back on the Denver Broncos and have the same type of outlook on the Denver Broncos as they did the Dallas Cowboys, that this organization is successful. And I think we're moving that way, and we're going in the right direction. So it was a special feeling, to beat that type of an organization. It just, I think, proved that we're in the right direction. This organization is doing a lot of good things.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll talk about the Chargers in just a minute. I mean, you're so loaded right now. Things are going so well. On injured reserve, are either one of them a possibility to play against San Diego?
Well, I think they're both a possibility, Ron. I thought Mark improved a great deal last week from his injury and practicing almost full speed. And I think Vance Johnson has amazed everybody. He worked out today and ran pass routes, cutting full speed, and the strength in his leg is a little bit stronger than his other leg.
You have not had the greatest of success in San Diego. And I think I know you enough to know that it doesn't matter what their record's going to be coming into the game.
Well, it really doesn't. I think our team remembers very well the worst defeat we had last year was 35-10 by San Diego in San Diego. They're a very talented football team, and if we don't go out and play hard and play well, we won't have a chance. But if we do that, then we can win the football game, and I think our players expect to win it.
Best of luck in San Diego.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it.
Hope you enjoyed it tonight. We did. We'll talk to you after the San Diego game. Good night.
The Dan Reeves Show has been brought to you by the Rocky Mountain News.